She went to jail because she
drove my Corvette at 145 miles an hour.
While behind bars, she was threatened by
the lover of the jail cook's daughter.
And when she got out, she got even on the internet.
She doesn't allege anywhere in here that you raped her, correct?
No, ma'am.
Prison guard Eric Birmingham is suing former inmate Judy Cameroni for libel and slander on the internet. Judy claims he mistreated her while in custody.
Order, all rise. Quiet in the courtroom, please, all rise. Your Honor, this is case number 428 on the calendar in the matter of Birmingham versus Cameroni. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
All right, the chronological posture of this case is as follows. You, sir, are employed in a jail.
Yes.
As a guard.
As a deputy, yes, ma'am.
And there came a time when you, Miss Cameroni, were an inmate in that jail, having been convicted of some speeding violation. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
You claim that while you were in the jail, you were subjected to maltreatment by the plaintiff.
Yes, that's correct.
You complained to your husband. Is that you?
Yes.
Who sent faxes to the warden.
That's correct.
And as a result of those faxes, you were further mistreated by the plaintiff. Then you served your time, you got out of jail, and you started to write on the internet about the plaintiff and about the things that you suffered from while you were in jail at his hands. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And you're suing her for slandering you.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever sue him?
No, I did not.
You chose to take out whatever anger that you had by using the computer.
Well, I chose to tell my story through a website instead of suing civilly.
Okay. How long have you been employed as a deputy in the jail, sir?
3 years, ma'am.
And what were you doing in the jail? You were there for the speeding ticket. For how long were you actually incarcerated?
I was incarcerated for 3.5 months.
Why? That was a pretty long time for a speeding ticket.
Well, back in 1993, I had drove my Corvette at 145 miles an hour up the freeway.
Why would you do that?
You know, I realized it was wrong and I shouldn't have done it. You know, and it was a long time ago, and I know it was dangerous. But the treatment that he put me through...
No, I'm not getting to the treatment. So that's what you were there for?
Yes.
Now, tell me about the first time you had a contact with him.
That was June 6th of 1997. He was on night duty at the time, and he was assigned to the tower and the walkthroughs. And he would open and shut the door all night, a loud metal door, so I could not sleep. And then when the sergeant came through at 8 a.m. and asked me why I was still sleeping, I told him I couldn't sleep because of the loud door opening and shutting. And the sergeant says, I'll take care of it, it won't happen again. And that took care of that situation. I started having problems again when I filed a habeas with the court, which was not welcome with many of the jail staff.
What kind of habeas?
I was being denied medication that my doctor had prescribed.
What kind of prescriptions were you supposed to be taking? Don't show me letters. Look at me. Stop playing with papers.
Okay. I was supposed to be taking pain medication and Luvox and...
what was that for?
It was for my depression. I went through a court-ordered psychiatric review and...
So you were supposed to be taking medicine,
antidepressants,
psychiatric, for psychiatric problems.
Yes, and then for my insomnia, I was supposed to take something for that.
So you filed a habeas corpus proceeding because you said that they refused to give you that medication.
Right.
And were you ultimately given the medication?
After the habeas corpus proceedings, yes.
Well, what did that have to do with him?
Well, when I had come back from court to the jail, he was the one who removed the handcuffs and the shackles, and he was very rough in twisting my arms. And he was telling me, I hope it was worth it when he was removing the handcuffs.
So when was the next time you had a problem with him?
Well, after that, I had constant problems with him.
Tell me about them.
And with another inmate. Well, there was a particular inmate in there who...
And now, are these things that you memorialized on your website on the internet?
I didn't go into detail on my website.
Do you have what you complain about, sir, in writing?
Yes,
that
ma'am.
she wrote on the internet?
Yes, ma'am. I have parts of it, yes.
Can I see it, please?
The second paragraph on the first page is the beginning of it.
This is an accounting of life in jail and the very unprofessional conduct of 2 deputies in particular, another deputy and yourself, okay, towards her.
Yes, ma'am.
So far, this doesn't say anything. I want to see particularly what she says about you so I can address each of those things. Would you have him put a star next to the things that he's actually complaining about so that I could...
Ma'am, that's
Just-
kind of hard to say.
No, I want to see, sir.
Well-
You are alleging that she either libeled and or slandered you.
Well, that's what I need to explain, ma'am. It's not just what she said. It's the context of my name is now associated with this website on the very first page of it, and it contains words rape, prejudice,
Show me
racism.
where that's alleged that you were any part of that, sir. Show me.
By reading it, ma'am, a normal person reading that will get my name twisted into that and see this.
Just a second. She doesn't allege anywhere in here that you raped her, correct?
No, ma'am.
She doesn't allege anywhere in here that you beat her, correct?
No, ma'am.
It says, gives a whole litany of her experiences in the jail, which may have included those things. But with regard to you, all it says is, the fact is that Deputy Birmingham acted in an unprofessional manner on numerous occasions while she was in custody. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you're complaining about.
Why is my name on the internet? This isn't anything to do with free speech. This isn't anything to do with her trying to raise funds to go to Supreme Court or anything like that. This is just her ill will to try to get revenge, and my name doesn't belong on the first page of her website.
Well, you were employed at the jail when she was there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember her when she was an inmate?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Tell me what you remember about her.
I remember basically she'd complain about everything. She accused everybody of doing something wrong. She was just not your model inmate.
Mm-hmm. And how did you react to that, sir?
I didn't care. I was just doing my job, doing my 8 hours and going home.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
And he'd say things to me like, I could make it worse for you here. She could snap your little ass right in half.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sheriff's Deputy Eric Birmingham says former inmate Judy Cameroni slandered him. Judy says he mistreated her in jail.
Mr. Birmingham, you've been employed according to you for 3 years?
Yes, ma'am.
How many disciplinary proceedings have ever been filed against you?
None, ma'am.
Are you still employed there?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to tell me, madam, what are the things you are specifically complaining about that he did to you? Tell me.
Okay, there was another inmate there who was she was the lover of the jail cook's daughter.
Oy,
And
yeah.
she was in there for, oh, no,
The lover of the inmates.
the lover of the jail cook's daughter.
Go. Do this one more time.
She was the lover of the jail cook's daughter.
Okay.
Okay. And she was a very tough woman. She had been incarcerated for beating up 2 of their sheriffs. So she was very tough and very large. And she gave me a very difficult time there. Many times she would back me into the wall and threaten to beat me up, and guards would come running to stop her. Every time she would do something bad to me, and it came down to discipline, she was not disciplined. And Deputy Birmingham chose not to discipline her, and many of the times when we had conflicts where she instigated it, he would choose not to discipline her. And it just made matters worse, and I felt it was very unprofessional for him to do this.
What's next?
It's just caused her to be more bold.
What's next?
Well, my husband sent a fax to the sheriff, which he had intercepted, Mr. Birmingham intercepted. He came up to my cell, dumped out my coffee, which I had to purchase through commissary, and he said he was sick and tired of me. He had the fax in his hand, and he says, you better call your husband and tell him not to send any more faxes.
Does that sound familiar to you?
No, ma'am.
That doesn't sound familiar to you?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Birmingham, are you trying to tell me that a fax of complaint was never received by you, indicating that you failed to take steps to protect this then inmate?
No, ma'am.
You never saw that?
No, ma'am.
He came into your cell with the fax?
Yes, he did, and he dumped out my coffee. And I felt that his unprofessional conduct was putting my safety in jeopardy. You know, and he'd say things to me like, I could make it worse for you here. She could snap your little ass right in half, and things like this.
When did he say that to you?
When he had the fax and dumped the coffee out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you still taking medication?
Yes, I am.
Still the antidepressant medication?
Yes.
Were you on that medication before you were incarcerated?
Yes, I was.
Is this the first time you were incarcerated?
Yes, it was my first and only offense, and I haven't committed any crime since.
This was your first and only arrest?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Did you know that?
Frankly, ma'am, I didn't care.
Sure you did. Well, let me tell you why.
I have no business.
Let me tell
to
you
know.
why, Officer Birmingham. Here you're dealing with a woman, married woman, have children,
Baby.
and did something really dumb 4 years before. By the time it got through the process, only arrest, here she's given over 3 months to serve in jail. Pretty frightening prospect, wouldn't you say?
Can I add some clarification there?
Sure.
Okay. First of all, she spent approximately, and I'm not sure the number, 20 days back in '91 or whenever she was first arrested. She was committed after a trial and then got out on an appeal bond. So she had spent 20 to 30 days there already.
So you knew a little bit about her history, Officer.
Mm-hmm.
Now I do. Now I do, yes, ma'am.
Oh, sir.
He
Are you
knew.
telling me at the time that you folks were having, according to you, lots of difficulty with her husband faxing and everything else, that you didn't open up the file and take a look at it? Are you
I knew what she was there for, yes, ma'am.
Here was an inmate who was given lots of problems, who was not prepared to accept the regular drill of being in jail, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And that presented a certain amount of irritation for all the people in jail. Now, how many guards are there in jail?
It depends on the shift in the day.
Give me some idea of how many people she would have come in contact with between all the shifts.
4 to 5 a shift. It's a small jail.
4 to 5 a shift and 3 shifts a day.
Yes, ma'am.
So 20 people.
Give or say.
She doesn't complain about all 20, right?
Yes, ma'am.
She only complains about really 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know, ma'am. If she had such a problem with me, then why didn't she file a complaint with my department?
You're supposed, she did. She complained through him. She complained, sent a fax. I believe her when she says that you walked into her jail cell with the fax, irritated as hell. I believe her. She doesn't accuse you of any criminal behavior. She says that you were guilty of unprofessional behavior. That's a subjective term.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I could pick up the phone, it's only 2 o'clock, and save my little baby. 600-mile round trip. And that she wouldn't see me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Prison guard Eric Birmingham says former inmate Judy Cameroni has damaged his reputation on the internet. She says he mistreated her.
Certainly what she's saying is you failed to protect her from another inmate who was dangerous. And that what you were really telling her was, listen, babe, you better just do your time quietly, stop complaining, stop making a pest out of yourself, because if you do, there are things that we could do to make your life unpleasant. Is that what you're complaining about?
Yes, and he also, what he did was, the worst thing that he did was, he did a walkthrough, and he told me, when I was watching the news sitting on a bunk, stand up, don't sit on the bunk. I sat on the ground. He says, don't sit on the ground, remain standing. So I remained standing. And then he continued the walkthrough upstairs and left. And I had laughed at a sexual remark that another inmate had made towards him, which is not allowed, but he did not discipline her for it because he welcomes these kind of remarks. And I had laughed, I've got dizzy, I sat down, and I got back up, and I knew I shouldn't have sat down on the bunk. So when he came back around the front door, and I was standing right by the phone, and he says, I'm putting you in lockdown, and tomorrow you cannot see your baby. So I told him, look, I'm standing right by the phone. I could pick up the phone, it's only 2 o'clock, and save my little baby the 600-mile round trip. And then she wouldn't see me. He says, I don't care. And I says, well, then you can have someone else call my husband not to make the trip. He would not do that. But you see, here's the disciplinary action he wrote up. And then he also took away my visiting privileges for 2 weeks, and that's all I had left.
Why
And
did you
he
take away
wrote it up.
Why did you take away a visiting
I
privilege?
did not take the visiting away.
What did you do?
It's a disciplinary review board.
What did you write her up for?
If I remember the incident, we had an extra bunk out in the day room area, and the rules state don't use anything it's not intended for, okay? And she was sitting on the bunk watching TV, and like I've told other people or whatever, and told her to sit down over on the tables. But I have no say on whether she loses visits or not. That's the
That's not
disciplinary
my
review board.
question. This incident that you were talking about, that you wrote her up for,
I believe so, yes, ma'am.
you wrote her up for, was because she was sitting on a spare bunk rather than sitting on the table. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Jail is designed to have rules and to have structure, and that's all
Now,
it
did
is.
you know, Officer Birmingham, that she was supposed to have her visiting with her baby on the next day?
No, ma'am.
Does that sound familiar to you?
No, ma'am.
Doesn't sound familiar.
The only time they can make appointments for visits is on the day of the visit. So I would have no say or no knowledge of her
Officer
having a
Birmingham, are
visit.
you telling me, sir, that she did not say to you, if you're going to take away my visits, let me call my husband and tell him not to make this 600-mile trip? That doesn't sound familiar to you?
No, ma'am. I don't know.
You don't know. You don't know if it sounds familiar. Is that what you're saying?
I don't remember hearing that, no.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Look, I'm going to resolve this matter very quickly.
Okay.
Officer Birmingham, you are, in fact, suing her. You are suing her for slander, for saying terrible things about you on the internet, on the website. I don't find that she said anything that was terrible about you. She said that you engaged in unprofessional conduct towards her while she was an inmate in the jail. If I have to make a determination today whether or not any of that is true, I would have to say, yes, I believe that you behaved in an unprofessional manner towards the defendant who was an inmate in your jail. And therefore, your lawsuit would be dismissed because truth is an absolute defense. I believe her, sir, when she says that you took her handcuffs off in a rough fashion, that you came into her room with a fax in your hand, spilled her coffee and said, listen, don't do this again, because I can make, in effect, can make your life unpleasant here. And I do believe that you wrote her up for sitting on a bed rather than sitting on a table, which caused her to lose her visitation privileges with her child. And when asked whether you would please just call her husband not to make the trip, because the trip would be for naught, she was blown off. That, to me, sir, is unprofessional behavior. So your lawsuit's dismissed. That's all.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Thanks, man.
Judge Judy continues in a
Back to
moment.
you, right?
And on the next Judge Judy.
Well, it's something I should have never done, and it was very dangerous, and I won't ever do it again. But I can't change the past. and I'm sorry for what I did. But in no way did that event back in 1993 justify the unprofessional behavior and the little extra punishment he decided to put upon me because of that.
You think she's got a thing for you, Mr. Beaver? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yes, Your Honor.
The lady says her favorite waiter is trying to take advantage of her and her husband because they were generous tippers.
Your Honor, there's a lot of kinky things that go on in this world. Now that looking back on it, I think there could have been something there.
You talk faster than the last guy I bought a used car from.
Mrs. Beaver, step forward, please.
29-year-old executive secretary Michelle Ingebretson is suing waiter Steve Beaver, 39, for 3 unpaid loans. Steve says Michelle and her husband always gave him gifts for giving good service.
Order, all rise. Your Honor, this is case number 414 on the calendar in the matter of Ingebretson versus Beaver. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Have a seat, ma'am.
Mrs. Ingebretson, according to your complaint, you and your husband met the defendant when he was a waiter in a restaurant that you frequented. Is that right?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And over a period of time, you and your husband made loans to him. In what amount?
Amount of $800, Your Honor.
Is that what you're suing for?
I'm suing for $1,500, Your Honor.
Well, that's the first thing I didn't understand. If you loaned him $800, why are you suing him for $1,500?
Punitive damages.
What's punitive damages?
For all the stress that he has caused, my husband.
Everybody's got stress. I have stress. Byrd has stress. Everybody has stress. So you loaned him $800. Let's stick to the $800. Why did you make loans to him in the amount of $800?
We trusted him as a friend.
Well, how did you become friends? He was serving you pasta. How did you become friends?
We met him through a restaurant in Santa Ana, and we kept going back because we liked the service that he gave us, and we felt, you know, we could trust him, and we wanted to be friends.
So tell me, you made a series, according to you, of 3 loans to him.
Correct.
Tell me about the loans.
On the first loan, he had called my husband and asked if he can borrow some money. And my husband called me, and we discussed it, and I said, yes, go ahead. And so then I gave my husband my credit card number, and we, you know, wired through a Western Union some money to Mr. Beaver.
So how much did you wire him this time?
$200 plus then the $40 for the wire fee.
Oh, okay. And tell me about the second loan.
Second loan was for $300. He approached us again saying that his car was going to be repossessed because he didn't have the car payment. And so we basically gave him my money and, you know, loaned it to him. So
that's $300. The most interesting one, according to your complaint, is this final loan that you made to him. Tell me about that.
He called us and said, you know, he was being threatened by a loan shark, and his family was being threatened by a loan shark because he had not paid this loan shark back. So we drove all the way down to Newport Beach at a Del Taco, and Mr. Beaver met us there.
Well, how much was this loan to the alleged loan sharks?
$300.
And those are the 3 loans?
That's correct.
Did you ask him back for the money?
We have letters stating we've asked him back, and he said he would pay us when he gets paid, and he has still not paid us back.
Do you have any letter from him acknowledging the loans?
No. We just felt we could trust. We did.
Well, let me see your letters.
The last page is the last demand letter we wrote to him and delivered it, hand-delivered to Stater Brothers.
Okay, Mr. Beaver, let's hear your side of the story.
Your Honor, this fabrication is a wonderful story. It's not exactly at all the way things took place. Joe and Michelle came in as customers. They were turned over to me by another waitress because she didn't feel that she wanted to wait on them. I set about giving them the best service I could. And of course, they enjoyed the service and came back repeatedly. During the course of the 1.5 years that I waited on them, they began to tip me quite graciously. They exorbitant amounts. Often he would not only tip me on the credit card, he would palm me a check or some money on the side saying, this isn't just for, this is just for you. This isn't for your waiter or for your busboy. This amount is just for you. I would arrive at work, gift baskets of balloons and candy and cakes and cookies would arrive. some of the things I have here, an electronic organizer, a Swatch Olympic collector's watch. When they went to Vegas, they brought me back gifts. I was always very appreciative of all these gifts, but that's exactly what they were, gifts to me. They were for my service to them. Can I show you this here, Your Honor?
I don't know what it is. Tell me what it is first before you...
An umbrella.
An umbrella. I know what an umbrella looks like.
Okay. This arrived in the mail one day. It's, you know, just even at my house, gifts would arrive and things
We're
like
not
that.
talking about a Swatch watch, and we're not talking about a pocket organizer. She's not suing for that. And
Right,
we're not
exactly.
talking about an umbrella. We're talking about 3 separate cash loans, cash amounts of money that were transferred to you, the last one of which was for $300 when they said they met you at a Taco Bell.
Our fabrications. The only time I ever asked to borrow some money from them, I expressed that I did have some car repair to do. I did mention this to them. They both offered to loan it to me, as they had repeatedly said, if you ever need any help with rides or anything like that. In showing friendship, they did say, feel free to ask us. I denied it at the time, said, no, don't worry about it. The next day, I did call Mr. Engelbretson up. I said, sir, you know, can I go ahead and borrow $200 from you? And he said, so certainly. I called him back to verify the receiving of the money. That is true. And at that time, he told me that is a gift from Michelle and I. I said, no, I feel that's too much to ask. I want to go ahead and pay you back on this, my next payday. No, that's a gift from Michelle and I. Don't you worry about it. That's his exact words. One evening, they called me up. They said, why don't we take you out for a beer and a game of pool? I expressed that I didn't feel I wanted to go out without my girlfriend, Sam. They went ahead and said, they said, well, go ahead and bring her along, too. Right from the get-go, when she and Mrs. Engelbretson met, she began to give her just looks like you wouldn't believe. She didn't like her. She was rude to her throughout the evening. I left early. We both left early from the event, feeling very uncomfortable. Went home, I called them up, and I expressed to them that if they wanted to talk to me next time, I was on my way to someplace. Why don't they meet me there? I went and I sat down and I talked with them. I expressed that our friendship had ended because of the way they had treated Sam.
Did that conversation ever take place?
That is incorrect, Your Honor. I didn't like the way she treated Mr. Beaver.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You think she's got a thing for you, Mr. Beaver? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yes, Your Honor.
You think that Mr. Engelbretson had a thing for you, too?
And later today,
You didn't feel comfortable, but you let her write it anyway.
Yes, because I told her if she wanted to write it, she had to write it at her own risk.
Did those words ever pass his lips?
No, ma'am.
Of course not.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michelle Engelbretson says waiter Steve Beaver took advantage of her and her husband by not repaying loans. Steve says he was their favorite waiter and they always gave him gifts.
Did you meet with him at a restaurant in a public place where he said to you, I don't think we should be friends anymore?
No.
I don't think, because I don't like the way you treated Sam.
No.
Yeah, that doesn't sound logical to me. Why would you have to meet
We
somebody
met
to
because
tell
I
them
was
that?
on my way someplace, Your Honor, and I told them, and that was our meeting at the Del Taco that she refers to. I did not ask to borrow any money. That was our meeting there. At that time, also, they once again tried to get me to go to work for them, kept trying to get Sam out of the picture, and being naive.
Mr. Beaver,
Being naive.
common sense. Well, I'm not naive, sir. Common sense does not suggest to me that one person would have to meet to discuss the fact with really virtual strangers that they don't want to be their friend anymore. That could be either accomplished by not taking their telephone calls or with some conversation on the phone. Not a
Not really, Your
sit-down.
Honor. Not in this case. Not in this case. And we were by this time now. You have to remember, this is a year and a half of her coming in and me waiting on them. At this time, it
Just
had
a minute,
become a
you had-
friendship. I think if you'll even question Sam as to there was something more wanted out of this relationship, like for the day that she appeared in the parking lot of where I worked and said, you know, I broke up with Joe now. Why don't you call me someday and we can do lunch? Or how she's now employed by the restaurant shop around the corner from where I work. All of a sudden, she works there right now because I'm working right here.
So
and,
you think she's got a thing for you, Mr. Beaver? Just a second. You think she's got a thing for you, Mr. Beaver? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yes, Your Honor.
You think that Mr. Engelbretson had a thing for you, too?
Well, you know, Your Honor, there's a lot of kinky things that go on in this world. Now that looking back on it, I think there could have been something there.
You talked faster than the last guy I bought a used car from, Mr. Beaver.
Sorry, Your Honor.
You owe her $840. It's my determination that she's telling me the absolute truth, that she and her husband made these loans to you over a period of time, none of which you paid back. I think you're doing a lot of fast talking, Mr. Beaver. I don't know what you needed the money for.
They gave me a CD stereo player. They gave me clothing. They gave me CDs. They gave me gift certificates. Do I pay them back for all this too? As a waiter, I accept gratuities.
They're not suing you for that, Mr. Beaver. They're not suing you for all the gifts they gave you. Let me tell you why you're whacked up. Because if what you're telling me, sir, is that you thought that there was something strange in all this,
not
when
to the
somebody, baloney!
Not to the
if you're a waiter and somebody is palming you checks, in addition to leaving you money on the tip, I could see somebody saying, you gave me really extra special service, here's $5.
No, Your Honor.
Extra.
It wasn't like that at all. They gave me more than $5.
No, just a minute. How much more than $5, Mr. Beaver?
They've given me $100 checks as gratuities.
Okay. So, if somebody is giving you $100 checks and you don't think that they have an ulterior motive involved, right? And then you take that money.
No, I don't. I didn't.
You just think that you are a terrific waiter.
That's right. Can I have my witness speak, Your Honor? Here's somebody who tried to tell me all the way along. Sam told me, she said, something's going on here more than meets the eye.
Mr. Beaver, I'm not interested in Sam. I'm interested in you, sir. I'm interested in you.
Right.
Because if your girlfriend is telling you there's something fishy going on here because they're giving you $100 checks in your hand for serving them a bowl of linguine, then what I'm telling you,
more
sir,
than a bowl of linguine.
whatever it was, and you said to yourself, listen, they're giving it to me.
No.
What am I supposed to do? I'm just going to give it back? I never heard you say, sir, that you took the checks and returned them, or that you took the cash and returned it, right? You never did that.
I never took gratuities because gratuities are what I work for as a waiter. I don't work for free, and when someone hands me something, tells me thank you for the service tonight, we really enjoyed ourselves. You give us wonderful service. That's my job.
And here's an extra $100.
That's right.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $840. That's all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I don't want to be near him.
She's lying through her teeth because this is the only way she can get close enough to him. They're sick. Both her and her husband are sick. You don't get $100 gift baskets. You don't get stereos. You don't get this and that. He said there was something wrong with me. He thought I was jealous. And I'm jealous of this? Look at her.
All of a sudden, a sandwich shop opens right next door, and she's got a job right there. You know, come on, put two and two together. What are we talking about here? I'm being pursued. The calls on the phone. I'm being harassed. I'm being stalked.
I am being just because you look that way doesn't mean her sexual appetite isn't what it is.
I'm sorry. It's a free world to work anywhere you want.
And now the next case.
Parties on Mitchell versus Witt. Step forward, please.
22-year-old nursing assistant Tina Mitchell wants her ex-boyfriend, Coy Witt, 26, to pay her medical bills after she crashed on his motorcycle. Coy wants Tina to pay for the damages to the bike.
Miss Mitchell, how old are you?
22.
Do you work?
Yes.
What do you work for?
The Adrian Convalescent Center.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a CNA.
What is that?
Certified Nurse's Assistant.
So you're a working 22-year-old adult.
Yes.
And how old are you, sir?
I'm 27.
You work?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
I do heating and air conditioning.
You were dating or something, had some sort of relationship with him?
Yes.
He has a motorcycle.
Yes.
You got on his motorcycle.
Yes.
Had an accident, right?
Yes.
Was seriously injured.
Yes.
Had a lot of medical bills.
Yes.
You were riding this motorcycle by yourself?
Yes.
You want him to pay your medical bills?
Yes.
You, 27 years old, let her use your motorcycle.
Yes, I did.
She had an accident.
Yes, she did.
You want her to pay for the damage to your motorcycle.
Correct.
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You knew I shouldn't have been on that bike. You knew it. And you let me get on it anyway.
You're a big girl. Like a kid in a candy store that wants it, you keep on telling them no, finally,
Well,
here, go for it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tina Mitchell wants her ex-boyfriend, Coy Witt, to pay the medical expenses after she crashed his motorcycle. Coy wants her to pay for the motorcycle.
Why do you think he should pay your medical bills?
Because he didn't have insurance on his bike at the time that I had the wreck.
Let us assume we lived in a kinder, gentler time and there was no insurance. Let's talk a little bit here about personal responsibility. Did he force you to get on this motorcycle?
No, ma'am.
Tell me how it came about that you got on the motorcycle.
On our first date, he came to pick me up on his motorcycle, and I made it known to him that, I've always enjoyed bikes. And I told him that, someday I'd like to learn to ride. And he told me that he would be more than glad to help me. And he did a couple times, show me basically what to do. Never really took me out on it, just showed me what to do. On June 2nd, he let me take it out by myself.
What do you mean he let you?
Well, I asked him if I could take his bike, and he said yes.
You, 22 years old, who takes care of the sick and elderly, right, asked him if you could take out his motorcycle by yourself.
Yes.
Continue.
I was out for about 15, 20 minutes, and I was heading back to his home. I was at a four-way stop sign, and somebody started to take off at the same time as I did. I didn't know what to do. I was panicking, and I took off too quickly, hoping to get across the intersection before the other car did. And I don't know if I jumped the bike or what exactly happened. All I know is that the bike fell to the left, and I went to the right. I caught my leg on the kickstand peg underneath the neutral switch, and it shredded my leg open. And I was taken to the hospital from there, where he had told the doctors there and signed the insurance forms, signed everything, claiming responsibility.
Somebody had to claim responsibility, otherwise they wouldn't have taken care of you, right? Right?
Right.
I didn't sign anything, Your Honor.
Your signature is on file on the papers from the doctor.
Well, can I see that?
Right there, it tells that his signature is on file.
Can I see it, please?
I'd like to see them too, Your Honor, to see if that's my signature, if so.
Let me see. Let me just see. Could you? It says, it's typed in, signature on file.
Right, that was from...
It's typed in. Hey, get out of here. Oh. Now, Mr. Witt.
Yes.
Why don't you tell me why you think she should pay for the damage to the bicycle that you let her ride?
Well, I let her ride the bike, and basically I told her if she wanted to ride it, she had to ride it at her own risk.
No, just a minute. Are you trying to tell me, sir, that you said to this gal that you were dating, if you ride this bike, you are riding it at your own risk?
Yes, I did.
Look over here.
Yes, I did.
Not in this life.
Well,
Not in this life. Now, you gave her a couple of lessons on this bike.
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel perfectly comfortable with her riding it?
No, I still not feel.
Oh, good. You didn't feel comfortable.
But
just a minute. You didn't feel comfortable with her riding the bike, but you let her ride it anyway.
Yes, because I told her if she wanted to ride it, she had to ride it at her own risk.
Did those words ever pass his lips?
No, ma'am.
Of course not.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
All right, Miss Mitchell, you rode the bike. That's a very foolish thing to do unless you're really thoroughly acquainted with this big thing. I understand it's a big bike, according to both your papers, with no metal around you. Whenever I drive, I like to drive in something with a lot of metal around me. The bigger, the better. So, you were foolish. Cost you $3,000. You, sir, your motorcycle was damaged in the amount, according to you, of $4,800?
Yes, ma'am.
Next time, you don't let somebody ride your bike that you're not particularly comfortable with. Your petition is dismissed. Your counterclaim is dismissed. That's it, sir.
Well, she said she was going to pay for the damages.
Well, I want to tell you something. Mr. Witt, if you are in possession of a vehicle like a motorcycle, which is really a dangerous instrument in the hands of somebody that doesn't know how to use it properly, and you allow them to use it, you assume the risk that if they hurt themselves or damage your bike, you may be responsible. In this case, I find that she was an adult and she assumed the risk of her own injuries.
That's fine.
Right? But you, sir, are assuming the $4,800 loss or damage to your bicycle because you both acted like idiots. That's all.
Yeah.
All right, excuse you. May step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I have to deal with this for the rest of my life because of him. Because he wasn't man enough to tell me, no, Tina, you can't go out on that bike. It's too big for you. I had a helmet on, yes.
Because I made her put it on.
Made me?
Yeah, I did.
I ain't that stupid.
Obviously, you got on the bike at your own risk to ride it.
It's him being a pathetic mama's boy. I'm glad that I don't ever have to see you again.
There's no doubt in my mind that he called the police.
He grabbed me, punched me, and knocked me through a plate glass window.
The man has been a nuisance from that very first day.
You were smoking.
The fight broke out when he got fed up with the complaints of his 70-year-old neighbor.
I had him down pounding him pretty good.
You'd better stop drinking because...
School principal Carl Martin got in a fight with his neighbor, Michael Jones, 35, and is suing him for a broken window, pain, and suffering.
Order, all rise. Yeah, it's case number 407 on the calendar in the matter of Martin versus Jones. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Mr. Martin, Mr. Jones, according to your papers, lives in your neighborhood.
Yes,
And he assaulted you in April of 1997.
correct.
Tell me what happened, sir.
Do you want me to start with the event that precipitated the attack?
I think that that's probably a good
One
place to
evening,
start.
I was watching television. I heard noises, and then I heard horn honks, and I started looking out my window. It's very dark. The street dead ends into the ocean, into the boardwalk. And I'd hear a horn honk, and I'd look down, and for a period of about 30 minutes, I would see a lighted match, and this gentleman bent over the steering wheel, and I didn't know whether somebody was trying to hotwire an automobile. The intermittent honks, does he have an accomplice? Is there something going on with a robbery? I didn't know. Finally, I decided that I'd better call the police. I didn't call 911. I called the police number and asked for an investigation. The police came out. He was crunched into the shrubbery and parked illegally up over the curb, and they gave him a drunk test, arrested him, and took him away in handcuffs.
Did you see the face of the person at the time you called the police?
No, I didn't have any idea. It was too dark. I had no idea. It was a new truck. I've lived in that neighborhood 39 years. I'd never seen the truck before. I couldn't tell who was in the car.
Now, Mr. Jones, were you arrested on that evening?
Yes, I was, Your Honor.
Okay. And was the arrest for being intoxicated and in a truck?
Driving under the influence, though the truck was parked in a driveway.
So far his story is correct. Is that right?
Pretty much so.
And did you find out who it was that had called the police?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so what happened next, sir?
About, it was on the night of April 18, sometime in the middle of the evening, this fellow came to my door and started cursing me and threatened to kill me. I slammed the door in his face and went into my home and called the police and told them what had happened. That I was a witness, which I was a reluctant witness to let the police use my name in the first place. Now I have this fellow on my back and I need some help.
Okay.
They said to call him if there was any trouble there nearby. They came and asked if I knew where he lived, and I knew he lived in the alley in an apartment nearby. So the police officers went back to locate him. They couldn't locate him according to the police report, and I have the copy of the police report here. His truck was illegally parked. A sergeant came and they opted to tow the truck away. When he appeared on the scene, he started using vulgar language, calling the police officers four-letter words beginning with an F at least 10 times, according to the report. And they left. I walked down.
They left with his truck?
No, yes, they towed the truck. So I went back up and started watching television and kind of fell asleep. There was a banging on my door. I answered the door. He grabbed me, punched me, and knocked me through a plate glass window. And we had a fight in the street that lasted 5 or 10 minutes. My neighbors called the police. They arrived, and by this time I had him down, pounding him pretty good on the ground, and they restrained me, picked him up, put him in handcuffs, and took him to jail.
So what kind of injuries did you sustain as a result of this, sir?
Well, I have, if I may, these are the photos the police took.
And I'd like to see the police report as well.
Here's the police and I've highlighted some of the statements. In addition, I had Charlie Horse, a sprained knee.
How old are you, sir?
I'll be 70 in September.
All right, Mr. Jones, let's cut to the chase. The first time you were arrested, you found out who it was. You were pretty angry. I assume you were pretty angry. And the second time your car was towed, you went to his house. Is that right?
I went to his house the week following the DUI, and yes, I was upset because I was not driving. But that's,
well, that's not his
beside
fault.
the point.
That's not his fault. So what did you go to his house for?
Because he had called the police, and he gave them reports that are not accurate, not true.
Like what, Mr. Jones?
The crashing, the banging, the horn honking. Just not true.
Oh, how would you know that if you had been drinking?
I was not oblivious, Your Honor.
Good. You were angry, Mr. Jones, at the wrong person. The person you should have been angry at is yourself. You live in a different building, correct?
Correct.
But you went to his house.
Yes, I did.
Why did you go to his house?
I had never seen the man. I had never confronted him with his comments that he makes to me and other neighbors.
Don't tell me about other neighbors.
Okay. He is correct. He slammed the door in my face, and I went home. I'm in bed, and I hear a commotion out in back, and yes, my truck is being towed. And there's no doubt in my mind that he called the police.
Okay.
You know?
So you came out of the
When
house.
I went to his house, he slams the door. To me, that was the end of story. I go home, go to bed. And yes, now I'm upset.
Well,
And
you went to his house. You just didn't go into his house. You
No,
knocked
I
at the
knocked-
door of his house, and you
knocked
must
on
have
the
said
door.
something to him. What did you say to him?
that I wanted to talk to him as to why he was doing these things.
In a nice, quiet tone of voice.
I probably wasn't quiet, but I was
Probably
not belligerent.
So he slammed the door.
Yes, he did.
And so you went home and went to sleep.
I was in bed, yes.
And your truck was again parked illegally.
Questionable.
According to the police, it was
According to the
parked
police.
illegally. So they came out and they were towing your truck, which woke you up.
Yes.
And what did you do?
I watched it being towed away, and I went over to Mr. Martin's house again. Knocked
This
on.
time you must have been really angry because you went over the first time a little bit angry. The second time you were smoking.
I was angry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You pled no contest, sir, which means you were found guilty. So if you don't remember that, sir, I suggest you better stop drinking because your brain is getting fried.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 69-year-old Carl Martin claims 35-year-old Michael Jones knocked him through a plate glass window after Carl had him arrested. He's suing for damage and medical bills.
So what did you do when you went over to him, Mr. Jones?
When I was knocking on his door,
At what time
it's
was
like
this?
the man had baited
As-
me because he did not come out of the house. He came down the sidewalk bellowing, "You son of a bitch."
Why do
Now, I don't know the man. I have no idea of his age. I know that I was being threatened by this person coming down the sidewalk at me.
What were you doing at his house, sir?
Do I not have some type of a justification to find out why this person is doing these things to me?
Uh-huh. Now, you were arrested, Mr. Jones, is that right?
Yes, I was.
Bail posted?
Acquitted.
Bail posted.
Yes.
Did you go to trial?
Yes.
Was there a trial?
Yes, there was.
And you were found not guilty.
Correct.
Is that right, Mr. Martin?
I'm not aware of that. I have a statement here that he was ordered to pay restitution for damages, but
Let me see. Just a second. When you say you're not aware of that, Mr. Martin, that's very interesting to me, sir.
well, I wasn't aware of the decision by the police. I was angry that he was released.
What I'm asking you, Mr. Martin, is did you go and testify at a trial?
No, I did not. I was not invited.
You did not go to
not.
testify at
I
a
did
trial.
not.
Well, you can't have a trial, Mr. Jones, unless the complainant is there to testify. So how did you have a trial without him?
To my knowledge, I don't know his exact words, but what he told the judge was, because of the history, prior history.
If you don't know what the exact words were, sir, then you don't know. Say, listen,
in
sometimes
effect,
that's hard for people to say, I don't know.
In effect, he called us mutual combatants.
Okay. Now, you said there was a trial and you were acquitted.
Arraignment.
You said there was a trial and you were acquitted, so that was a falsehood. There was no trial because at a trial you have a complaining witness. And since there was no complaining witness, you didn't have a trial. So you had something else.
Well, I'm not sure what it is, Your Honor. You have to forgive me.
You are an intelligent man, Mr. Jones, I think.
Familiar with the judicial...
My 9-year-old grandson knows the difference between a trial and not a trial. Mr. Jones.
Yes.
This is addressed to the plaintiff. And it says you, Michael Charles Jones. That's you, right?
Correct.
It says the above-named person has been ordered to pay restitution to you for the damages incurred to your property in the crime of which he or she has been convicted. A hearing in this regard has been set in the Long Beach Municipal Court on September 19th, 1997, in Department J. Now, I assume, sir, that you appeared in that proceeding on September 19th, 1997.
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
And what happened?
It was dismissed because there was no conviction of the crime.
Could I see the paper that you have?
This is just a letter stating that I don't have the disposition of the court cases, but the judge at that hearing determined there was no grounds for restitution if I was not convicted of anything.
Mr. Jones, are you serious with me, sir?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Are you really serious with me?
I'm very serious.
Uh-huh. Let me explain something to you. The prosecuting attorney indicates that you, A, pled guilty to driving under the influence of alcohol.
Correct.
And that you were to appear in court on September 19th for a damages hearing.
And I was there, Your Honor.
And
Mr. Martin was not there.
he doesn't have to be there.
I don't know.
He doesn't have to be there.
Okay.
And the case was not dismissed. Mr. Jones, case could not have been dismissed.
Your Honor, it was dismissed.
Well, let's go find out. You want me to go find... You had a lawyer in that case?
Yes, I did.
What's your lawyer's name? Let me
It's on that paper.
Joette something or other?
Courier, yes.
Let's go see. Now, I do have your permission to speak to this lawyer, don't I, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I think people like this should be handled in a way to see that they don't repeat this sort of an attack on a
You are
citizen.
one malevolent, mean-spirited, delusional character. You know that?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Retired school principal Carl Martin fought with his neighbor, Michael Jones. Carl wants his medical bills plus pain and suffering.
Yes, Miss Courier, this is Judge Sheindlin. I'm calling with regard to a client of yours, Michael Charles Jones, who is currently a litigant before me in a civil action stemming from a representation that you gave him some 8 or 9 months ago. Are you familiar with him? He is appearing before my court today in the civil action brought by Mr. Martin. I have his permission to speak with you. If you want me to verify that, I will. Now, he has given me permission because there is an issue involving the disposition of the assault case with regard to Mr. Martin, and I have letters from the prosecuting attorney, and I opted to call you prior to calling him because I figured you would have this easily at your disposal. I have a letter here dated the 23rd of May from the prosecuting attorney, C. Raymond George, which indicates that Mr. Jones had been convicted, I assume on a plea or no contest. Now, that's the issue. Can you resolve that for me? Was there a plea? Was there a negotiated disposition? And what was it? Sure. Absolutely. Good. You're much more organized than most lawyers, if you can find the file so fast. How long will it take you to look it up? And all I really need is just the disposition on this particular assault case where the plaintiff was Carl Martin. Okay, will do. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Order. Step back up, please.
Mr. Jones, your file is so thick, your lawyer needs 15 minutes to find the right case. And then I'm going to call her back so that she can give me the disposition on this particular case, which you say you were found not guilty on.
The files were so convoluted between the two charges of the DUI and the assault. They mixed them all together, and yes, it's very difficult to sort anything out.
These two files between the DUI and the assault case
They
were not
all came under the same case number.
They're not the only files she has to look through of yours, sir. Right?
That is true, Your Honor.
Right. You've got a big file, Mr. Jones.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Yes, Miss Corriere, please. Hi. Well, did you find it? Did he pay the fine? You don't know. Okay, so the... Okay. Thank you for your help. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Order. Resume your places, please.
Now, Mr. Jones, your lawyer is lovely. You pled no contest, sir, which means you were found guilty, because the judge explained to you at that time that a plea of no contest was exactly the same as a plea of guilty. There would be a conviction. Your sentence was suspended on condition that you pay $300 in fines on this case. So if you don't remember that, sir, I suggest you better stop drinking because your brain is getting fried. Plea of no contest is just like you pled guilty or went to trial and were found guilty. That's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That means, sir, that in this civil proceeding, where the quantum of proof is a lot less than beyond a reasonable doubt, you owe him the money. The only issue is, how much do you owe him? Let me see those pictures again.
You want to see my bills also?
I'm not interested in your bills.
This
You
was
wouldn't have
not a
any bills.
one-sided
You wouldn't have
event.
any bills, sir. You wouldn't have any bills. Put your hand down. You're winning. Be quiet. You wouldn't have any bills if you stayed in your bed. That's why you pled guilty. So I'm
not
looking
going
at
to
these...
argue that point, Your Honor. That is totally incorrect.
Listen to me, sir. Then I suggest you go back to your lawyer and tell your lawyer that you made a big mistake by pleading no contest. Because right now, that's what you have. You have a plea, you have a sentence that was suspended, and you have a fine that you were supposed to have paid, which I assume you paid, of $300. That's to the court. The issue of damages to the plaintiff was never addressed. So I'm looking at this gentleman's face. And this face is worth, sir, exactly what you're suing for, which is $5,000. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Yeah. Didn't need it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Back door to your right.
And on the next Judge Judy.
Somebody needs to confront people like this to let them know that they can't get away with their maliciousness, their pettiness. And like I say, I'm not the only one. Sometimes you have to take a stand.
I think people like this should be handled in a way to see that they don't repeat this sort of an attack on a
You are
citizen.
one malevolent, mean-spirited, delusional character. You know that?
Happy to
Why
be able
don't
to
you go
report the
seclude
facts.
yourself in your house again with your $5 grand and enjoy it, and you can drink yourself to death. I ended up through that window also and severed nerves and tendons in my hand.
Thank God. In
Yeah,
the
you
police
like that,
statement,
don't you?
Damn right. When I'm a attacked fellow, you're going to get what you got.
See, now we start to see the man's true nature. The man's a sociopath.
He ought to grow up and get some conscience and maybe be able to deal with the truth.
The engagement didn't ripen into a marriage and you broke up.
Now that the love is gone, the would-be groom wants back the money he spent on his never-to-be bride.
I think I deserve punitive damages.
I assumed that we were going to be married, and in the course of our relationship, that it would all wash out in the end.
I'm not going to go through all this. We're at $500 and moved into a house together. The engagement didn't ripen into a marriage and you broke up.
Correct.
You say she owes you some money.
She agreed at the time that we broke up to pay the phone bill, which was approximately 80% hers. While she did not work the 3 months while we were engaged and living together, she made numerous calls, and the phone bill equaled almost $500. And she made probably 80% of the bill, and she agreed at that time to pay for that. No, for the phone bill, and then, you know, half of the utilities, half of the rent. She only gave me $940 the entire time after we moved in.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Just a minute. Right.
And she gave me that $940, but the bills were considerably more than that, obviously. I mean, you know, what she should have paid, all told, is $1,371.19. That's if we split the bills in half. But I said, once you just pay the phone bill, she agreed to that. She was going to pay it after her first check from her new job. She had just gotten a job right at the time we split up, and she was to pay me at the 1st of August when she got paid, and she did not. Then she put it on, and she said, I'll pay you the next month. The next month came. She did not. In the meantime, I had to borrow money from my parents in order to pay the phone bill, which was $500, so I could get another phone later. And at that time, she didn't pay in September. She promised me by the end of the month. I called near the end of the month. She told me she had no intention of paying me. She didn't feel she owed me the money, and that I would just have to sue her.
Okay.
And
my first question to you, Mr. Bledsoe, is this. You say that during the course of the 3 months that you lived together, she should have paid you $1,371.
if we were to have half.
If you were to split the
it
expenses. And she paid you $940.
Correct.
Which leaves $431 if you were to split the bills in half.
Correct.
And you say that she agreed to pay the $500 phone bill in place of that. So she's really paying $69 more than she should have.
However, I also paid one of her truck payments for $277.97 on my credit card, and she was supposed to pay me before the following month, before interest accrued on that amount, and she did not. And then the next month, she had another bill, and she wanted me to do the same thing, charge my credit card.
Mr. Bledsoe. So, is what you're saying you forgave everything as long as she paid the $500 phone bill?
It was a settlement. It was nothing more than a settlement.
What I'm asking you is what you're saying that in lieu of the truck payment and the $431,
yes,
that you were prepared to accept the $500 phone bill?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Now I'll hear from you.
Okay, Your Honor, we need to back up, because when I agreed to marry Robert Bledsoe, who I loved dearly at that time, he had convinced me that I should quit my full-time teaching job.
I'm not interested in that.
Okay. Well, I moved to Alta Loma, where we rented a house. Okay, he borrowed $1,600 from his mother and father, Mr. and Mrs. Richard Bledsoe. When I received my very last teaching check, which was of $1,400, I gave him $1,200 cash for the deposit. So he gave his parents the $1,200 cash, which left $400 that he had to give them. When things didn't work out between us, okay, I lost my $1,200 deposit.
Well,
But I have to say that I worked the entire time. I was a substitute teacher.
Just a minute.
And I have my pay.
Just a second.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because I read that in the answer, and Mr. Bledsoe, you seem to have left that out, although you do indicate that she paid for 3/4 of the deposit, the
Yes.
security deposit.
She did.
On the house.
Yes.
And that was lost.
Yes.
And that was $1,200?
The security deposit
Yes.
was at $825. Then there was $825 for first month's rent.
Well, let's not count the first month's rent because you lived there.
Right.
Let's talk about the $825.
Yeah.
But we had to come up with, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
She paid the $825.
No. Well, she paid $1,050, and then I paid $600, which equaled $650. $1,650, which was the full move-in.
So she paid more than you did.
Oh, yes.
How much more?
At $400.
Okay. So she paid $400 more than you did, which she lost.
She lost that, yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I cannot prove that I gave him cash, and that's a sorry thing that I didn't get receipts from my fiancé when we were going out because I assumed that we were going to be married, and in the course of being married, that it would all wash out in the end.
And later today,
Did you ever tell your sister that this was a gift?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
She probably can't even come today and look me in the eye and say that. That's why she's not here.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robert Bledsoe wants his former fiancée, Renee Lynn Bryant, to repay him for past due bills. Renee says he made her quit her job to move in with him.
Well, it seems to me, Mr. Bledsoe, that what's fair is fair. If she lost $400 more than you did, she has to be given credit for that. Don't you believe so?
Well, no, because I offered her at the time that we were about to split up. We agreed to stay together even after we agreed to leave the house. And we had to leave the house just because I had given them a check to pay for the rent that month in July, but I didn't have the funds. She only gave me $200 to cover that. She was unable to pay her half of the rent that month.
Now,
however, I was able to pay my half of the rent.
But that's my next question to you, Mr. Bledsoe, because I read your papers very carefully, sir. You say the last month that you were there, she gave you $200 towards the rent. You wrote out a check for the entire rent, gave it to the landlord. And how much was the entire rent?
$825.
But then you stopped payment on that check.
I had to stop payment on that.
What did you do with the $200 that she gave you?
Oh, I began paying bills. I began paying the bills. Most of the bills.
Just a minute. We've already talked about the bills. The bills were the original $1,371 that you said that you had all together. What did you do with her $200? Did you give it back to her?
No. She told me I could keep it.
Well, so far, let me understand
because
this, Mr. Bledsoe.
Because she owed me money.
Right, but she can't keep owing you money if she keeps giving you money, sir. She gave you $200, all right?
That's
so
part
far,
of the $940. That is not in addition to the $940. That is part of the $940, the $940.
Oh,
I have just added up everything she ever gave me.
So you are giving her credit. The $940 includes the $200?
Correct.
But it doesn't include the
four.
deposit.
It doesn't include the $400.
And it doesn't include the money that I made as a substitute teacher working for Altaloma, Cucamonga, and Riverside that I gave him cash.
Yes, it does.
Well, just a second.
All you gave me was
Just a second. You
cash.
can't prove that you gave him the cash.
You can't
Just
prove
a
that I didn't
second.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
All right. So we have $940. And I'm adding on to the $940, $400, which is the deposit.
However, it should only be $200 more because if I was to pay half, I only needed to pay $200 more.
She lost $400.
Right.
She lost $400. You lost.
I lost $200.
But you're already getting. Just a second. You're already getting credit for that, sir.
No, she lost $600. She
paid $400 more than you did.
Right, she paid $400
$400 more than you did. That's all that I'm interested in. Well, that evens out the $1,371. So now all we're down to is truck payment, $277.97. Do you owe him that?
No, Your Honor.
Why not?
Because I assumed since I had paid more of the deposit that that was his way of giving me back some of the money.
No, I've given you credit for that.
Okay.
I've given you credit
I gave
for that.
him, you see, you're right. I cannot prove that I gave him cash, and that's a sorry thing that I didn't get receipts from my fiancé when we were going out because I assumed that we were going to be married. And in the course of our relationship of being married, that it would all wash out in the end. And I did get a full-time job, and, you know, obviously things didn't work out.
Shh, listen to me.
Yes, Your Honor.
$277 is for the truck payment. It didn't work out, so you have to pay for your own truck payment.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you had a $500 phone bill. Show me the $500 phone bill. Is this $1,300 that you gave me, including all the utility bills and everything else?
And yes.
Well, then it includes the
rent.
telephone.
Yes. I didn't say that it didn't.
I thought you had
I'm
an ending bill of $500,
No, when I
sir.
said utilities, I
Well,
was
I've already
including
taken
phone.
care of the utilities.
Mhm.
It's a wash. The utilities and her additional $400 plus the money she gave you is a wash. So she owes you for the truck payment, $277.97, not $1,100. Judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $277.97. Thank you. That's all.
Bodies are excused. You may step out.
I just want to forget about it all. But I want to say, you ladies out there, get your receipts for our cash.
And now the next case.
Bodies on Mackins versus Richardson. Step forward, please.
Hairdresser Terry Mackins is suing her brother-in-law, George Richardson, for a house loan and money for a stove. George says Terry is retaliating because he beat up her brother.
This is your brother-in-law?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And he is married to your sister?
Yes, he is.
According to your complaint, you lent your brother-in-law and your sister some money.
Yes.
For house. And also sold them a stove.
Yes.
They refused to pay you for either.
As of this date, yes.
So first tell me, how much was this loan towards the house and how it came about?
I loaned my sister and my brother-in-law $700. My sister and my brother-in-law called me and asked me if I would lend them this money so they can go to closing on their home. I got cash. I got a check from my credit union account, got it mailed to me, and I got it cashed. And I gave them the cash money for their
So far, is that correct?
Yes.
And in December, we had bought our own home. And our home, in our kitchen, we wanted to do our kitchen over again. We had a brand new kitchen. And we got rid of the cabinets, and we sold my brother, my brother-in-law and my sister the stove for $150, which was to be payable as soon as they got the money as well. So that's the $850 I'm asking
Well, tell
for.
me how the sale of the stove came about.
My brother-in-law was over our house, and we had talked to him about we were getting rid of certain things in our kitchen. And we told him we were selling the stove and how much we wanted for it, and he said he wanted it. And Reginald Bear, who's my witness, delivered the stove to their house.
Okay. So, what's your story?
Well, my story is the $700 was at first given on a, well, we actually told her we was going to pay her back when we had a lawsuit and we was getting ready to settle. And we
What
said,
kind of lawsuit?
A car accident. And we were going to pay her back the money that she loaned us for the house. And Terry told us it was a gift. She gave us this money.
He's lying, Your Honor.
Just a second.
No.
Just a second.
She gave the money to my wife. My wife initially told her that we were going to pay her back. And then she came back about, what, day later, because she calls every day, every morning at 7 o'clock, and she said, forget about the money, it's a gift. It's a housewarming gift. That's what she told my wife.
Just a second.
Sure.
Where's your wife today?
She's home. She's disgusted with the whole thing.
Just a second. You just told me that the conversation that she had allegedly was with your wife.
Right, and she...
Well, then I'm not
me.
hearing that conversation because that's hearsay.
So is this agreement with us giving it back to her.
No, sir. Shh. Sit down. I'm not ready to hear you yet.
No problem.
No, sir. You just acknowledged that your original agreement with her, when you called to ask her for the money, was that you were going to pay her back.
Right.
And according to your sister-in-law, she has lent you money before, and you have paid her back.
Plenty of times.
And you have paid her back.
This was a gift, Your Honor.
No, no.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He's lying.
And no.
No, no, don't speak to him. You speak to me.
Listen to your answer,
sir, speak to me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Terry Mackins wants the money back she gave her brother-in-law, George Richardson. George says she's only suing because he beat up her brother.
Listen to me, sir. You're not following what I'm saying to you.
I completely
You
understand.
first said to me that it was a loan, and you agreed
No,
to pay her back.
I never. Okay.
And you agreed to pay her back. That was your understanding.
Right.
She gave you the money, and I assume you and your wife went to the closing on the house with her money, right?
Yes, we did.
And when you did that, the intention was to pay her back.
Right.
Now you tell me that she had a conversation with your wife who was not present. And your not present wife told you that it was a gift. That's what you just told me.
That's exactly what I said.
Right. Did you ever tell your sister that this was a gift?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
She probably can't even come today and look me in the eye and say that. That's why she's not here.
That is
No,
why
that's
she's
not
not
true.
here.
Absolutely.
That's not
Absolutely,
true.
that's why she's not here, because...
That's not true. My sister, my wife is disgusted with my sister-in-law because this whole thing is all just a payback thing because I beat her brother up.
Why did you beat her brother up?
Because he assaulted me.
Your Honor, this is why we're here in court today.
Right.
This is why my brother-in-law is not paying me back, because I called him up the day after he fought my brother, and I kind of like told him about himself because what he did was not necessary. The whole thing is, George and Wendy owes me money, and I would like my money back. I don't have $700 to give nobody. I work very hard for my money, and I never told Wendy it was a gift.
Stove. You had the stove in your house. How did the stove get to your house?
Reginald brought it over to my house.
Oh, okay. Now tell me under what circumstances Reginald brought it over to your house.
Reginald called me up and said, though, you want the stove? I said, well, look, I haven't talked to Wendy. Wendy's my wife. I said, I haven't talked to Wendy because we have gas. And I said, we have to decide, you know, if she want to convert. So he says, well, listen, I'm trying to get the stove out of the house. Can I bring it over? So I said yes. I didn't consult the Wendy because Wendy was at work. So next day he brought it over. And he brought it and I got an enclosed porch in the front of the house, so it's set on the porch. And so I finally got around and talking to Wendy about the stove. So Wendy decided, we both decided that we didn't want to convert to electric. So I called them. I called them numerous times. Come get the stove. I even had a cookout at my house. Reggie was trying to make me buy the stove. No, man, you gotta buy the stove. I'm like, what's up with this? So I called them, told them, come get the stove.
He's lying.
And no.
No, don't speak to him. You speak to me.
Listen to your answer,
sir, speak to me.
I called them, told them to come get the stove. They would not come to get the stove. The stove stayed on my porch, Your Honor, for almost 8 months. So my wife stayed on my back about, get the stove off the porch. I got a little 2-year-old. He's climbing up on the range and pulling the grill out and everything.
You sold it.
Right. So I sold the stove. I sold the stove for $30 just to get my wife off my back.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Reginald, now you step up, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, how are you related to the plaintiff?
That's my fiance.
Okay, so now tell me about the stove.
When I took the stove over there, I told him, you don't have to rush and pay me the $150, but I charged him $150 for the stove and $100 to install it because I am a licensed electrician.
Did you install it?
No, I did not. What I did, I dropped the stove off
on his porch. Well, how
on
could
his
he
porch.
use it if you didn't install it?
Well, I told him when he's ready to get it installed, I would install it for him. So, in return, I took the stove over, put it on the porch, left it there. After the occasion with the fight with him and her brother, we called him up and told him we would like to be paid for our $700 as well as our $150 for the stove. The gentleman turned around.
All right.
He turned around.
Sir, what I've done is I have now warned you. This is the 4th time. And I've gotten tired of warning you. So, $700 is what you owe them for the loan, and $150 for the stove. Judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $850. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He's still lying.
Out the back.
Judge
to your
Judy
right.
continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Wendy,
Like I
trust
said,
me,
Wendy,
I'm a benefit.
if
I've been with
if
Wendy
you're
for
not
15
with him,
years.
If you're not with him, and
15
if you
years.
need something,
Your
you can come to me.
Your so-called,
Don't never ask me
your
nothing as long as you have this guy with you.
He's elite. Your so-called fiance.
Keep
He's
the parasite.
elite. You
Keep
claim
the
everything
parasite.
she owns.
Keep the parasite.
Everything she owns. If it wasn't for her, you still be wearing polka dots and stripes. He's elite.
And what are you wearing?
I'm matching.
Polka dots and
You're
stripes.
damn right.
Hello.
They damn right. And it's
Thank
all
you.
name brand.
They took our baby back. I have photographs to show you. We had her and we were very devastated.
The heartbreak of an adoptive mother who finally had to make the ultimate sacrifice because the birth mother changed her mind.
They made me feel like I was selling her.
We had bonded with this baby. We had grown to love her.
She didn't play it 100% straight with them. And
Their newborn baby, the birth mother, 36-year-old Debbie Kay, changed her mind and took her daughter back. The Tothpals say they were heartbroken and devastated after losing the child they grew to love as their own. They're suing to recoup adoption costs from Debbie Kay and her boyfriend, Phil Francis.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom, please. All rise. Your Honor, this is case number 311 on the calendar in the matter of Tothpal versus Kay Francis. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Mr. and Mrs. Tothpal, I've read your complaint, and I am most sympathetic because, as an old family court judge, this is not the first time that I've seen a failed adoption. According to your papers, you and your husband wish to adopt a child, and you were put in touch with the defendants, who, for reasons which I'm sure they will tell me, were prepared to relinquish the baby that the defendant was carrying to you, and you agreed to pay certain of her expenses for the last trimester of her pregnancy. So far, is that correct?
That's correct.
Is that correct? You did, in fact, make those payments. They were $1,500 a month to cover your expenses, medical bills, rent, whatever, during the course of the last trimester. And then the baby was born, a little girl, I believe, correct?
Right.
So you want to tell me what happened?
Well, we had entered into an adoption plan, as you've said. She was born. We were present at the birth. I was present at the birth with my mother. I assisted in the birth. And
in the delivery room?
In the delivery room, yes. The next day, we came back to pick up the baby to take her home. We met with the social workers, and they agreed to sign a placement agreement, which they signed. We took the baby home, and we had her in our home for 7 weeks. We have 2 children of our own. We're very grateful that we have them. We feel very fortunate.
How old are they?
9 and 7. We bonded with the baby for 7 weeks.
Had you been trying to have a third child?
No. 5 years ago, I had uterine cancer and a hysterectomy, so I'm no longer able to have any more children. But we wanted to open our home up again to another child. We had always wanted to have more children, and this was just something we wanted to do, and which is why we chose adoption. We originally got involved in a surrogate program, but just got discouraged due to the success rate, and also because I had a lot of chemotherapy, and we didn't know the effect of the medication on my body, so we decided to adopt instead. And we, anyway, we had her for 7 weeks, and then they took her back. They took our baby back. I have photographs to show you. We bonded with her, we had her, and we were very devastated.
When did you know that there was difficulty?
We didn't know until she was born August 11th. We didn't know until mid-September.
What happened in mid-September?
We had a call from our attorney handling the adoption that apparently Debbie had sent them a letter stating that she was interested in possibly getting the baby back, but didn't say in so many words that she wanted the baby back. Basically beat around the bush. And he told us about this letter. We have never seen a copy of the letter. That was mid-September, and on September 30th, the morning of September 30th, I needed to bring her back.
How did that come about?
Well, there was a lot of talk for the tail end of the last 2 weeks of September. Phone conversations I was having between the social worker who was handling our case, phone conversations between myself and the attorney. She never really came out and told anybody she wanted the baby back. She never called me until the end of September, the 29th of September, was when I received a personal call from the birth mother stating that she wanted her back. And she said to me that she would like to meet me at a location, and she was going to call the attorney's office and let them know, make them aware of the fact that this is what was going to be happening. I was completely devastated. I was breaking down on the telephone. This wasn't, I mean, we had bonded with this baby. We had grown to love her. Our children had grown to love her. It wasn't as if she changed her mind, you know, the day that she was born. This baby was becoming attached to us. She was developing a personality. We were bonding with her.
There were some legal documents that had to be signed after the placement agreement, because that's what usually happens.
Right.
And that's what we call a surrender document. You're familiar with that?
The only papers they told me that I needed to sign, if I wanted to, was to waive my rights for the 90 days.
That's what I'm talking about. And you did not sign those.
Right.
Am I correct?
Is this the waiver? You're talking about the waiver?
I'm talking
Yes.
about the waiver.
Right. No, I never signed those.
But you were asked to sign the waiver.
I was asked to sign those many times.
Many times. Well, we'll get to that in a moment.
She had also agreed to sign it in the hospital.
Are you two married?
No.
Your Honor.
But you live together?
Right.
Yes, Your Honor.
How long have you been living together?
5 years.
Yeah.
We have a 4-year-old together.
And how many other children do you have?
We have 4, besides the baby. We have 5.
And what made you decide that you thought it was in the child's best interest, since I assume that that was your motivation, to place this child for adoption?
Neither one of us was working at the time, Your Honor.
We were just having a really bad time, and we neither one had a job, and
We just thought it would be the best for the baby.
because we couldn't provide really well for our own children and this one, and it was just very, you know, hard.
It was
a very
difficult
hard decision. It wasn't something that was easy. It was heartbreaking. It was very hard.
I'm sure it was. But you decided to do it.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
2 days after the baby was born, we received a call from our attorney's office stating that they wanted $720 in lieu of an epidural so they could take their other children to Disneyland.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Heartbroken parents, Jennifer and Peter Tothpaul, are suing Debbie Kay, the birth mother of the baby they adopted. The Tothpauls say 7 weeks after they took the newborn home, Debbie and her boyfriend Phil changed their minds and demanded their child back. They're suing to recoup adoption costs.
So let's get to the reason you changed your mind and when you did.
There was just many reasons. There was many reasons because, well, one reason is because I wanted her. You know, it was devastating for me to give her up. You know, when your baby's born, you cry because you're happy. I cried because I was just
I cried because I had to give her away.
Right, and it was very hard. And
when, for the first time, did you make the decision that you were going to ask for her back?
It was about a month later. I had.
When? She was born in?
August.
August? And when did you decide to ask, when, in your mind, did you say, I'm going to ask for her back?
I can't tell you an exact date. I mean, I was going through so much, you know, it's just, in September. I had talked to the agency weeks before, and they never told them anything.
That's
you know,
because
I kept
you told
calling.
them not to tell us.
I did not tell them.
No, don't talk to each other.
I had talked to the social worker.
Did you have misgivings right after the baby was born in August about whether you were going to go through with this adoption?
No.
Was it a week later? Was it 2 weeks later?
It was about, I don't know, 4 weeks later. There was a lot of things that led up to it, you know, is that we had to go through so many things.
Like what?
Like, we sent all our kids away because we kept it a secret. And I was very, very emotional because I kept hidden. I didn't tell very many people. And just different things. It was just really hard. And they had told us things that, like, he wasn't even present for the birth. And I felt like, you know, she wasn't as important as their own children.
That's not the reason, Debbie, that you changed your mind.
No, that's not the only reason. It was just different things. I was just unsure about what was going on. And I felt, when I talked to everybody at the agencies and the lawyers and everything, they made me feel like I was, you know, less important, or I just felt less significant, you know, and it wasn't as important for them to send me the papers. They made me feel like I was selling her. And that wasn't my intentions at all.
When for the first time were you asked to sign the waiver? In the hospital?
Yes.
And you decided not to sign the waiver in the hospital. Can you tell me why? He did.
No, there was something was said, like we were going to go out a couple weeks later for lunch or something and sign this paper, this waiver.
You mean you weren't asked to sign the waiver in the hospital?
Yeah, we were.
Sure you were.
Yeah, and we declined it then.
Right. My question to you is, why did you say no, sir, in the hospital?
In case she wanted to get the baby back, because I was fully supporting her and whatever she wanted to do.
So even in the hospital, you weren't sure that you were going to go through with this adoption. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm not telling you that at all.
But what you just said to me suggests that that was true, because if at that moment of the child's birth you were totally committed to this adoption, then you would have signed the waiver at the time. Don't speak to him. I understand that you can have a change of heart. My point is, these people are suing for nothing else other than, at this point, $4,500, which is what they gave to you in support for the 3 months that they agreed to. I mean, they can't be compensated for their heartbreak. That doesn't necessarily make you the bad guys, because you're entitled to have a change of heart. That's what the law provides. But my question is, when was the point in time when you had this change of heart? If you were committed to the adoption without reservation, you would have signed the waiver in the hospital at the time that they took the baby home.
We couldn't. We had to do it after. We had to go to this in LA somewhere. That's what we were told.
Because he wasn't there to sign something.
He doesn't have to be there to sign. You have to be there to sign. The waiver is something you have to do.
But they told me I could not sign this in the hospital.
They asked you to do it immediately thereafter, and you put them off.
No, I was going to do it. I had told him I would. And you know that I told him I would.
You never did it. Did you go away on vacation?
I was going to go away, and I never was able to go.
But you told them you were going away on vacation.
Right.
Whether you went or not, you said you couldn't sign the papers. You'll sign them when you come home from vacation, correct?
Right.
So that's
They called me 3 days after the baby was born. They called me 3 days. I didn't want to talk about this. I didn't want to deal with it. You know, it was...
Debbie, I'm not
I did not
faulting
tell
you
them.
for changing your mind, Debbie. I want you to understand that. The law builds that in. But if what you're telling me is 3 days after the baby was born, when the baby is already with the new parents, you're called and said, would you come in so we can sign the papers?
That's not what they didn't call me to say that. They just called me to tell me that he hadn't signed his part of the papers yet, and just to let me know what was going on. That was the only time I ever heard from anybody.
No, that's not true. You knew you had to sign the waiver. Come on, Debbie.
That's not what they said, but they weren't telling me to do it then.
You knew you had to sign the waiver, and you kept putting it off.
And we had 90 days to do it.
They didn't tell me I had to sign it.
I know you had 90 days to do it, sir. I mean,
Right.
are we understanding each other?
Yeah, totally. I'm not disputing anything. I'm just saying.
You had 90 days. Of course you have 90 days to do it. The idea is, if you're committed to doing it,
Right.
then you do it at the earliest possible time, right? And you two folks didn't do that because you had misgivings as to whether you were absolutely positive that you wanted to do it. Is that true?
No,
I don't
it's not.
believe you. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, because otherwise you would have done it. And the bottom line is, you did in fact say, I'm not signing the papers, I want the baby back. I'm not faulting you for wanting your baby back. I'm faulting you for taking their payments in September.
And you know,
I'm faulting you for that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You know what? She sent her sister to pick up the baby.
I had just started a brand new job. I couldn't just leave.
Talking about your daughter.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jennifer and Peter Tothpaul are suing Debbie Kay, the birth mother of their adopted baby, after she demanded they return her child. The heartbroken Tothpauls are suing to recover the cost of the adoption.
You took the money in September, even though you had misgivings. That's not fair, because that also says to them, everything is going the way it should be going. We can fall in love with this baby. That's not fair. And what I'm suggesting to you is, they're not the bad guys here. You're not bad either. But you didn't play it 100% straight with them. And it's a shame.
You know, when I talked to her, and I hadn't even made up my mind then, she was very, very mean. She says, I am not a babysitter, and I'm going to call Child Protection Services.
Well, for once.
And I hadn't even said anything yet.
Sure,
and after she said, do you want to come to my house and see our home and everything? And I agreed, but that kept going through my mind. How could she be so mean? She's going to call the Child Protection Service on this baby. Well, she's hurting the baby. And then when we did change our mind, and they made it very, very hard for us to get the baby.
You would too. If the circumstances were different, Debbie, you would too.
No. She dropped her off. She didn't even tell me what kind of formula she was drinking. She dropped her off in just a diaper and a T-shirt, which, you know what? I didn't even know what kind of formula she was drinking.
Why didn't you ask?
She wasn't there.
Just why didn't you ask the social worker?
The social worker wasn't there either. The social worker was on vacation. The lawyer was the one that was giving us a hard time. He wouldn't even let the father pick her up. He's the one that told us they were going to call child. They made us feel like we were evil, and it was
in
nothing.
In their minds, Debbie, you were evil. First, they hear that you're unable to take care of this infant because you have too many other kids that have to be taken care of. You have no jobs. You have no way of supporting this baby. And so that two people, the two of you, who look like two able-bodied people, had to accept $4,500, $1,500 a month to pay your rent and your food and whatever other expenses you had just to keep you for the last trimester of this baby's birth. And then, after 7 weeks, you say, well, now I want her back. Were you both working? Were you both working at the time you got her back?
I had just started working.
When you got her back. So who was going to take care of the baby?
I had a babysitter.
You know what? She sent her sister to pick up the baby.
That's right, because I just started working.
At work.
I had just started a brand new job. I couldn't just leave.
Talking about your daughter.
And we'd already agreed on this the night before. And she knew the whole situation.
She doesn't know the whole situation, Debbie. You just
no. I told her that
you're not being fair. You can't say that these folks did anything wrong.
I didn't say they were doing anything wrong.
Okay.
Can I mention something else?
Sure.
In lieu of receiving an epidural in the hospital, they wanted money in exchange for that.
But I didn't come up with that.
Please don't speak.
They wanted money in exchange for that. That didn't come from us. We wouldn't make such a suggestion. I told her I wanted her to be comfortable, and we would talk about that after the fact. 2 days after the baby was born, we received a call from our attorney's office stating that they wanted $720 in lieu of an epidural so they could take their other children to Disneyland in San Diego.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I know you're heartbroken. Fortunately for you, you can be heartbroken and look at your two kids when you go home.
Right.
You know that.
I'm very grateful for my children. I'm very fortunate.
I'm sure you know other people who have been through the adoption process and the adoptions have failed that don't have the two gifts that you do at home to go home and look at. It doesn't make it any easier. Tough lesson, but you understand how hurt they are. All right, the issue is not a difficult one, especially since I believe that you understand it is your moral responsibility to return this money. You had an agreement with the plaintiffs that that they would, in fact, take care of you for 3 months of your pregnancy, and you would allow them to adopt your baby. You did not allow them to adopt your baby, and therefore, they're entitled to their money back. So judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,500. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Once you have it, you know, it's different, and then it just keeps stewing. You keep thinking about it over and over and over, and day after day after day. At least I did. And
The way we feel or whatever went down today is really petty to the way we would have felt every day if we didn't get our kid back.
I was devastated that morning. You have no idea how devastated I was that morning.
I'm sure
I barely
it was
made it
hard, too.
to that office, barely. I was hysterical in that car driving her there. It's very heartbreaking to think that you've got to go 90 days and wait till day 90 or day 89, and then all of a sudden a decision has been made, and you need to give this baby back. We had bonded with this baby, and it was very devastating. We loved her dearly.
He was screaming, yelling, and he deliberately accused me of endangering his child.
Fists flew when the rollerblader collided with the baby stroller.
I was terrified, obviously. My wife was more petrified than I was.
He then attacked me and punched me in the mouth.
I said, stay away, because I didn't know why he was coming at me again. I thought he
What
could
do you mean
attack
you didn't know why, sir? You would hit him in the mouth. Mr. Van,
Yes, ma'am.
your complaint alleges that the defendant assaulted you by punching you in the mouth,
Correct.
something that he acknowledges he did.
Yes, ma'am.
So why don't you tell me how this came about?
Okay. On 4th of July, my brother, his friend, Mr. Rohr, and I were skating northbound on a bicycle path heading towards Manhattan Beach Pier. When we reached the
Rollerblading.
Yes, rollerblading. And as we reached the 2600 section of the Strand, the Hermosa Beach Police Department were breaking up a party, and so it became very congested, and they rerouted the direction of the people that were on the path heading north to head back south again. So at that time, we complied with the police officers, and we started to head south.
So they were making him make a U-turn.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so it came to a standstill. And so a person behind me had a bicycle, and they accidentally tripped me, and I accidentally fell on top of the Webb's baby stroller. As soon as I fell on top of the...
Okay, so you were walking with your wife.
Correct.
And you had your baby in the stroller.
We had the baby in a baby jogger.
What's a baby jogger?
It's like a stroller, a little bit different, designed for really running with the child.
One of
But-
those long pointy things that
Exactly.
I've seen? Okay. So it's got 3 wheels?
Exactly.
Gotcha. Go.
As soon as I fell on top of the baby stroller accidentally, Mr. Webb immediately pulled me off the stroller, and before I had an opportunity to apologize to him, he became belligerent and started yelling and screaming at me and using profanity. And so since he refused to listen to me, I raised my tone of voice to the level of his and said, "What the hell are you talking about? It was an accident," because he even had the audacity to accuse me of deliberately endangering his child. And the whole time that he
Your
was...
Honor.
Could get to you.
You know, during this whole time, he was more interested in...
Don't tell me what he was
okay.
interested in.
He
Just
was-
tell me what he said to you and what you said to him.
Well, I can't recall everything that he said to me, you know, just that he was screaming, yelling, and he was using profanity at me, and he deliberately accused me of endangering his child by falling on top of the baby stroller.
Okay.
So after we exchanged words, I then attempted to proceed to leave, and at that point in time, Mrs. Webb then confronted me, and she started to do the same thing to her husband.
Just tell me what she said.
Oh, I can't recall the exact words, Your Honor, so I don't want to guess at it. But she, too, was, you know, yelling, screaming, using profanity against me. And at that point in time, I became upset, and I told her that she was an unreasonable for not allowing me an opportunity to apologize or to look at the situation that it was accidental, and I had no intentions of hurting their child. So
You didn't say all that. You just called her an unreasonable beep.
Exactly.
Okay.
So at that time, I attempted to leave again, and after I left, Mr. Webb then pursued me and cut me off from leaving, and he attempted to pick a fight with me. He was yelling at me, saying that I cannot call his wife a So I wouldn't allow myself to get in an altercation with him because there was no reason. It wasn't for self-defense. In addition to that, there were several police officers behind us. So he then placed his right hand on my chest, on my left side of the chest, attempting to further provoke me to a fight. And I still refused to engage in a fight. So
Your Honor, that's... Okay.
So I then warned Mr. Webb several times to remove his hand from my chest. And when he didn't do it immediately, so that's why I had to do it several times. When he finally removed his hand from his chest, as soon as he put his hand down, he then attacked me and punched me in the mouth. Immediately, his hand came down. And that's when I fell backwards, hitting my head on the ground. And when I tried to get back to my feet again, I got onto my knees. Then Mr. Webb then jumped on top of my back and in a deranged manner was yelling, "You can't call my wife." And he kept on pushing my head towards the ground while he was on top of me. Afterwards, my brother intervened, and then a police officer came by, and when I realized that I was injured from the bleeding...
Where were you bleeding from?
From my lip. My lip became lacerated from the punch, and I then charged Mr. Webb with citizen's arrest and told a police officer who was standing close by of my charge.
Okay. You had some medical bills?
Yes, ma'am.
What were the medical bills?
The medical bills were for the oral surgery, for my tooth to be put a crown put on it, and the actual crown price.
How much?
That came out to, excuse me, and also the emergency room bills as well. And that came out to approximately $901. And in addition to that, my one tooth was shattered, another tooth is cracked, and that tooth has not died yet. So the dentist wants to wait until the tooth does die, and so I have an estimate of that, which is $1,275.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment.
Teach children from a very early age to use their words. Say that to toddlers. Use your words, don't use your fists. And you didn't. You didn't because you got hot.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Norm Van says after bumping into Henderson Webb's baby stroller while rollerblading, Mr. Webb assaulted him, causing dental injuries. Mr. Webb claims he hit Norm in self-defense.
All right, Mr. Webb, now let's hear your version of what happened, sir.
Okay. I think that was a very creative version that you just heard.
Mr. Webb, let me hear your version of what happened,
my wife
sir.
and I left 4th of July midday to walk down the Strand with our daughter Haley in the baby jogger. When we approached the 26th Street intersection, there was a huge crowd and that we were just kind of instantly enveloped in. Virtually nobody was moving, maybe at just a very small shuffle. People were going every which direction. I was going northbound on the Strand with the stroller at a little bit of an angle there. When kind of out of my peripheral vision, I saw some movement, and before anything else, I felt a strong hit against me and down on the jogger. And that was Norm Van. I looked down, he was full body, full weight, impacted upon the jogger. I started trying to help him up, and I said something to the nature of, get up, get off, watch where you're going. He was immediately very indignant with me as far as profanities. I learned some that day. He got off on me and said a lot of things in my face about I'm a effing this, don't touch me, it's not my fault, get your hands off of me, etc. But it was one of those things. I was terrified, obviously. My wife was more petrified than I was. At that point, I looked under the baby jogger has a canopy on it. Haley was crying and bawling. Wasn't really the place to get her out and find out how she was. Stepped back behind the jogger.
But she was fine.
She didn't have any visible damage.
She was fine.
Correct. Stepped back behind the jogger to resume our snail's pace, so to speak. My wife's still behind me when the next thing I heard was him going off on twice the tirade with my wife. And, at a distance of like that from her face. He called her B-I-T-C-H, but that was the nicest word he called her. We all felt threatened, I think. We had no place to go. We were in a very small space. I kind of put my hand between them. I never once touched Norm Van until I actually hit him. I kind of stepped in front of my wife and in front of Norm Van so that they were behind me. And he continued to be very threatening, very belligerent, indignant, coming at me this way. I thought for sure he was going to attack me. I've got my wife and child behind me, and I did hit him in the mouth. He never hit the ground, number one. He kind of squatted or kneeled. I got behind him and put my arms around him and locked my hands to contain him. I never tried to hit his head on the cement. I did one, I hit him once, and that's all that happened. Okay? Held him, contained him. He started screaming, "I'm going to sue you, citizen's arrest." I took a few steps back, and then he started coming at me again. And I said to him 3 or 4 times, "Stay away, stay back." I couldn't understand why he was stepping towards me again. He was pointing his finger saying, "I want you to get arrested, you're in trouble," and I said, "Stay away," because I didn't know why he was coming at me again. I thought he could attack me.
What do you mean you didn't know why, sir? You would hit him in the mouth.
Well, I figured he was going to attack me.
You know, what you figured.
Right, I felt threatened by him.
You hit him in the mouth.
Yes, I did.
Mr. Webb, you know, I've walked many a stroller, and I've had footballs come into the stroller, and people, it's other times, you know, throwing a can out of a car that almost misses the stroller by that much. You know, has that ever happened to you, Byrd?
Sure, Judge. 4 kids.
Yeah. So you know what you want to do to the person who threw their soda can out of a window that almost hits your baby? You want to kill him. That's the immediate reaction.
I agree, but I think that's a little different circumstances than we faced.
Well, I'm not so sure, Mr. Webb. What I'm talking about is the maternal or paternal instinct when something, anything, threatens your child. The adrenaline starts to pump. And you don't want to hear anything about accident, because those kind of accidents aren't supposed to happen. I mean, when you say to me, "I tried to help him off the carriage."
Absolutely.
Well, you weren't helping him. You were getting him off there as fast as you could so you could check on your baby. You just wanted to get him off. If you could have used a stick of TNT, it wouldn't have made any difference whether he was okay or not. You wanted to get a look and see what whether your baby was hurt. Mr. Webb, that's totally understandable, sir.
Well, I was understanding enough to realize once he was up that could be over. That's why I stepped behind the baby jogger again to proceed at whatever pace I could to get away from Mr. Van.
But he didn't hit you, you hit him.
Correct. I hit him because I had no place to go, and he was posing immediate threat to my wife and my child.
No, I don't think so, sir. He was using his words. You lost your temper. You got angry because he said something to your wife, and there's no question in my mind that if I called your wife up here, she would say that she didn't say anything to him. Is that right? Did you say anything to him?
Oh, yeah, I asked him to, you know, just move away and get away from the stroller, because after the confrontation had happened, between my husband and Mr. Van, he didn't just go on his way. He was, I mean, this far away from both of our faces, just telling us that, you know, it's not his fault, and, you know, F this and F that. And
well, let me ask you a question. Did either of you say to him, "I know it was an accident, just that everything's okay now"?
I said, "Move on. Let's forget about this. It's over." And that's why I tried to go northbound. He was engaging my wife at that time.
Had your wife said anything to him before he was engaging you? Did you say to him, no? I don't necessarily believe that, Miss Webb. I mean, I don't say that because it's not common sense. You're a mother, your baby's in the stroller, I can imagine you broke out in an immediate sweat when you saw this body, this huge body over your baby. And you're trying to tell me, trying to stand there and tell me that you were behaving in a calm...
No, we're not. We were both petrified, as our statements will both say.
Mr. Webb, unfortunately, we don't have candid cameras all around the place so that you can view what your reaction was when he fell on your baby.
Right.
Because what you're suggesting to me is your actions were wholly appropriate and consistent with a very moderate tone and a very moderate reaction to an accident. And I guarantee you, sir, it belies common sense to suggest that you were that kind of calm and your wife was that kind of calm. Okay, so you hit him. You got to pay for his damage. No question about that.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment.
That's pathetic that you would even lie right here.
No, it's pathetic that you would even lie about lying.
I think it's pathetic that you didn't protect your brother.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Rollerblader Norm Van says Henderson Webb assaulted him after bumping into his baby stroller. Mr. Webb says he hit him in self-defense.
Now, I want you to look at these things, sir.
Your Honor, can I make one last quick statement?
Sure.
The fact that the police officers did not arrest me or do anything but take a report, combined with the fact that the first communication I got from Mr. Norm Van was via a lawyer named Daniel Lieb, led me to believe that there wasn't a lot of belief from the standpoint of the police officers that this was something they wanted to pursue, and that it was something that Norm Van merely wanted to get money out of from a precarious situation. And that's why I received a letter asking if I had a certain type of insurance to find out how much, coverage or what kind of a plaintiff's win they could get out of this.
Well, Mr. Webb, let me address your first question first, sir. The fact that the police took the information with regard to this case and decided that they weren't going to, at that moment, separate you from your wife and your baby, placing you in handcuffs and taking you off to the pokey, showed good judgment on the part of the police. I mean, they clearly understood that there had been an accident that could have been dangerous, that you overreacted to that, but that didn't rise to the level of somebody who was a dangerous person walking around the street. Certainly, unless somebody else fell on your baby carriage, this wasn't going to happen again. So the police exercised good judgment. They do not necessarily have to arrest everyone. To address your second point, if you got a letter from a lawyer that says, what kind of coverage do you have, because he wants to be reimbursed for whatever his out-of-pocket medical expenses were as a result of you punching him in the mouth, I think that that's wholly appropriate.
Why wouldn't you go to small claims court right off the bat instead of trying to find out how much money he could possibly take advantage of?
Why would he want to do that? People aren't supposed to abuse the court system if they can resolve things without going to court. If they can resolve things without going to court, why would you want to spend a day in court, have to go down there, maybe spend 2 days? Why would you want to do that? That's wholly appropriate, sir. People encourage that. That's why we have mediation services that are blossoming throughout this country to relieve an overburdened court system with cases that really shouldn't be in court. People accepting responsibility for things that they do and saying, all right, I'll pay what I can. I don't find anything inappropriate about that. Now, Mr. Van,
yes, ma'am.
I want you to look at these bills that you've just presented to me, and I want you to tell me exactly what your out-of-pocket expenses were, sir, that were not covered by insurance. Do we understand each other?
Yes, ma'am. That's $901.35.
Okay, because the rest was covered by your insurance.
Correct.
Okay.
In addition to that is the estimate to do the additional work for my other tooth, which is injured but hasn't died yet, which is $1,275.
And that was a result of this incident?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Mr. Van, see, so far I've given it to these people because I think that Mr. Webb was wrong to punch you in the face. And I believe that what happened with the baby was an accident. Right? You also seem like, the kind of guy who should understand that they were really upset. Do you have children?
No, ma'am.
Well, if you have children, you'll come to understand that something happens to a baby of yours, all of those protective juices start to flow. So the fact that Mrs. Webb, and I do believe she opened up her mouth to you, it was probably not the right thing to do to respond to it the way you did, verbally. You could have just kept walking away from her and just ignored her, because she was hot, because her baby was, for that moment, at risk. Do you understand?
Agreed.
You got to use your noodle.
Judge Judy is ready to rule.
Mr. Webb, you behaved unreasonably because you hit him. You can walk around that every which way, but you behaved wrongly because we teach children from a very early age to use their words. You say that to toddlers. Use your words. Don't use your fists. Don't be physical. Use your words. And you didn't. You didn't because you got hot. And I understand why you got hot, but you got to pay for it. All right? Your total expenses come to about $2,200.
That's correct.
A little bit less, but it's about $2,200. And you're suing the defendant for $3,000.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you're entitled to that. Judgment is for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. That's all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Like I said, I jumped behind the jogger to just get out of harm's way, get out of the situation. And when he re-engaged my wife, I realized I couldn't count on his state of mind.
Why did you say on the subpoena that the only reason that it says, why did you not ask Mr. and Mrs. Webb for the money? You know what you said? Because Mrs. Webb told me to suit them. Learn your English.
And that's exactly what you said.
Oh, I told you to sue us?
My brother's a witness on that one. Imagine me trying to collect my money, which is just due to me, according to Judge Judy, from the Webb couple. Can you imagine how difficult that must be? That is the reason why that I wanted to work through the insurance company, because they would be more civilized and much easier to deal with than the Webb couple.
You made a baby at a time that you had no right to make a baby.
Her parents raised her daughter for 6 years, but now she's suing them for the money that's owed back to the state.
She lived with your mother and father, who wiped her nose when she got sick. If she got an upset stomach, they took care of her. You better stop blaming other people for your life stress. This is your father.
Yes.
Your mother?
Yes.
Ms. Bocock, according to your complaint, you are suing your father for money that you owe to the state.
Yes.
For child support.
Yes.
And that came about because several years ago, your daughter, who was quite young, was removed from your care. According to all the papers and documents that I've read, the child was removed from your care because the gentleman who you were living with hit her. She was about 18 months old. The child was placed in foster care for about a year, a little less than a year, and then went into your parents' home. Correct?
Reasonably close, yes, ma'am.
How many years was the child with you?
About 6.
And for part of that time, she was with you as a foster child.
Yes, ma'am.
Which meant that you were getting money from the state as a foster parent.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the way things work these days, even if you're a grandparent. And then you were told that you had to file for either custody or guardianship of the child, and you consented to your parents having guardianship.
I was threatened.
Threatened by whom?
I was threatened by my social worker that if I did not give my parents guardianship, I would never see my daughter again. She would go up for adoption. I would never see her again. I was not given a choice.
Doesn't make much of a difference. There's only one innocent in this case, and that innocent is this child.
True.
I mean, you made certain choices when you were living with this gentleman that you were living with, because the child was ultimately removed from your care again. She was removed from your care once, and then you were told that she would be removed permanently if you let her have any contact with this man. And according to the papers that I read, you let her speak to him on the phone. She was just a little girl, and then you moved back in with him because you had some financial problems.
That's not true.
Well, according to the papers that I've read, Miss Bocock, your little girl was assaulted by this man. She was taken to the hospital. Bruises were noted. You were told at the time that the man had to be out of the house before you could get your daughter back. Correct?
That's correct.
To make a long story short, the child was with you, and there was a period of time when you had guardianship of the child.
Yes, ma'am.
After she had lived with you for several years as a foster child, and you began receiving welfare for her.
AFDC, yes, ma'am.
To the tune of about $2,000. As the rules of the state are, parents are responsible for the support of their children. So the state pursued you for this welfare money.
Correct.
And you say that there was some sort of an arrangement with your father that he would pay this amount.
Yes.
He says that there was not, the amount wasn't paid, your driver's license was suspended, and your credit ruined.
Yes.
So why don't you tell me about the arrangement with your father?
On June 15th, at the last guardianship hearing,
look at me.
He knew that I had received the summons. I was being sued by the state for the welfare money, for the $2,392. He pulled me aside just before the last hearing and said, I will take care of this matter. I know you can't pay for it. I will take care of it. My lawyer at the time was standing right next to me. I'm a student. I'm a mom. I'm struggling. It's very difficult. It's not that I don't want to pay it back, but he promised to take care of it for me as a father because he knew I was having difficulty. I just started going back to school. I'm in college. I'm nearly completion of my 2-year degree in biology. So I'm very close now, but it's very difficult. I'm financially very strained right now.
So you want to pay the money back because it's your loan.
Right.
It's your debt.
Right.
but he promised to take care of it for me. So that's why I'm here today, because I want him to honor that promise to me.
Let me hear your side of this, sir.
Well, ma'am, at no time have I ever said to anyone that I would pay this money either to her or for her. I did have a conversation after one of the guardianship hearings with her lawyer, Mr. Chavers, in which I asked him if he could get me information, a name of the district attorney and the phone number to talk to the person, because if you try and call in the district attorney's office, you get the royal runaround unless you have a case number. Because I had some things I want to discuss with him. What I didn't tell him at the time was that I was curious as to why they were charging her, Sandy, more than Jessica had received. And if he assumed from that conversation that I was saying I was going to pay for it, it was a 100% erroneous assumption.
Were you taking the money from the state because you needed it for your granddaughter, sir?
No. We could have supported her without it. In fact, most of the period of the guardianship, we didn't even know that we were eligible to receive it. It was a previous caseworker that said that we could receive that money, and in fact, it went for her daycare.
So how long did you have her in your custody without receiving any support?
I would say in the neighborhood of a year.
Because prior to that, you had foster care money that was coming in. Step up, sir.
Your Honor, if
Yes.
I may, at any time during this whole guardianship issue, they knew that they could return my daughter to me with no strings attached. They
Well,
could
Ms.
return
Bocock, I
her.
don't believe that that's absolutely true.
I was absolutely willing to pay every cent to take care of her. I've never had a problem with that. But he promised to pay this amount. He said that he would.
Ms. Bocock, you just said a couple of things that really give me a problem. Let me tell you what they are, madam.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
My parents are lying, selfish people. Extremely selfish people. They have lied my entire life. I wanted him to honor his word this one time.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sandra Bocock is suing her father, Bob, for money owed to the state for child care of her 9-year-old daughter, Jessica. Bob and his wife, Barbara, claim they looked after the little girl for 6 years and aren't responsible for the money.
If you wanted your daughter back, and you say there was no impediment to you getting your daughter back, and you were no stranger to the family court, all you had to do was to go into court, file your petition to terminate placement and to terminate guardianship, and if there was no impediment, you would have gotten your daughter back. So don't give me a lot of baloney that all they had to do was give her back. She's not a piece of meat. We're not talking about a parakeet.
I understand.
We're talking about a child.
I understand.
You understand that the child was removed from your care for cause by the family court, and the cause was neglect, because they only place children in foster care unless you voluntarily place your child when there is a finding of neglect. Aren't I right, sir?
This was under Arizona law, and I'm not familiar with Arizona law.
Well, Arizona is still part of the United States of America, sir. They do not remove children from parents without cause. Is that a fair statement?
Let me say this, that I've been involved in several cases where the issue of cause was, at best, in question, never substantiated.
That's why you're not the judge. That's why if the judge determines there's cause, a lawyer doesn't second-guess them. I don't care what your view of the evidence was. The state cannot remove a child from a parent unless the parent voluntarily places that child or there is cause. So don't give me a lot of baloney. I've been in this business much longer than you have, sir. And that was my specialty. So if it's not yours, it was mine for 25 years. Now, you want to tell me your recollection of the conversation with Mr. Bocock?
There were two distinct and different conversations. One occurred in the hallway of the court following the hearing on June 15th. That conversation was involving Mr. Bocock, his attorney, the attorney for the minor as well, negotiations going back and forth.
Child had a lawyer.
Correct.
Child's always had a lawyer. They're called a law guardian, correct?
That's right, ma'am.
And the discussion was whether or not the child should be returned to the mother, correct?
Not at that point, no. The discussion was on the timing.
Our attorney had not told us that at this particular hearing, there had been an agreement at the attorney's level that custody would be given back to Sandy. So all at once we're cold-cocked with this idea that we bring Jessica and she takes her home. And we
So
just
you
asked
wanted more of a transition?
Yes, just to the end of the school.
And was that ultimately worked out?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Is that correct?
It was, except for his comment that it was a surprise to them. Came as quite a surprise to the counsels involved. We normally work these things out before we appear at court, so the reluctance that was expressed was quite surprising to us.
Well, it's not surprising to me because according to your former client, this conversation took place on the 15th of June. And according to the defendant, grandfather of the child, he said that what he wanted was a transition so that the child could at least finish school, which I assume is 2 weeks down the pike at the end of June. Is that correct?
Yes,
is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
That strikes you as being odd?
The
grandfather who's had custody of this child for 6 years says, listen, it's June 15th, school is over June 30th. You know, we need 2 weeks, and aside from the fact she's in school. Does that strike you as being peculiar, sir?
In view of the facts of the time, the fact that we've been discussing the transition for about 6 to 8 months before then, yes.
It did strike you as being odd.
We've been
That's
working,
odd. Doesn't strike me as being odd to wait 2 weeks until school is over. You have children?
Yes, I do.
Give me a break. All right, so now we're past that. Now we're down to money. Let me hear the conversation about the money.
We had been discussing for months the return of the child to the mother. It was obvious that the grandparents, because of the timing that they had applied for the AFDC payments, was already after the time that we had already discussing returning the child to the mother. There's not an issue of financial need on behalf of the grandparents. It was a matter of timing. At the hearing, the grandfather stated that he would handle the AFDC payments.
Just a second. What you heard is, I will handle it.
The exact verbiage, I'm unsure. What I recall is handle it or words to that effect.
Okay, so you're not as sure what the words were.
Not the
you can have a
exact
seat.
word. There was another conversation.
Give me the other conversation.
The other conversation in context. Following the hearing on the 15th, I hand-carried all the court documents from the AFDC payments to Mr. Bulcock's attorney the following day, confirmed the fact that Mr. Bulcock was willing to handle the AFDC payments. And
confirmed with whom?
Confirmed to his attorney in the letter that I sent.
Just a second. You sent a letter to the attorney.
Correct.
You have a letter from the attorney to you confirming that?
No, I do not have a letter disputing it either.
He doesn't have to dispute it. You have a letter you sent to him and say, here, your client says he's going to take care of this. You have a letter from his attorney that says, that's correct, my client is going to take care of this?
Based on my extensive dealings with his attorney, had that statement been incorrect, I would have received a letter back promptly.
I mean, this is a court, sir. You're a lawyer. You know, you can't rely on that. You sent him a letter. Here, your client said he would take care of this, and he says, what, is he crazy? Takes it and throw in the garbage. You think that he has an obligation to respond to you? He has no legal obligation to respond to you.
But he did, in fact, respond.
How? Let me see.
The response was in the form of a conversation.
That's hearsay.
I understand
with the
that,
attorney.
It's also
Just a
operative
second.
fact.
With the attorney, not with him.
No, I had a conversation with Mr. Bulcock.
Tell me about your conversation with Mr. Bulcock, not a conversation that you had with an attorney that didn't answer your letter.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why did she move away to be with the man who actually is on record of having beat Jessica?
I was emotionally abandoned as a child. Of course I'm going to go seeking emotional comfort from somebody else.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sandra Bocock says her father should be responsible to pay the state money owed for childcare of her 9-year-old daughter, Jessica. Bob Bocock says he took care of Jessica for 6 years and should not be held responsible for the money.
Tell me about your conversation with Mr. Bocock.
He told me to, if I would get the amount due that he had received, he would pay for that. He would reimburse that amount.
Did you ever say that to him, sir?
No, ma'am, I never did. I have a copy of the letter that I sent to my attorney.
Can I see the copy of the letter
in response to the letter that he had hand-delivered to her.
Let me tell you, I've seen this, I saw this letter. Have you seen this letter?
No, I've not.
Let me show it to you, sir. Evidently, there was some sort of a miscommunication. He said his concern was that they were asking her for more money than the child actually received from AFDC. and that the conversations that he had had with both you and his attorney dealt with the fact that he didn't understand why they were seeking more from his daughter than his granddaughter actually received from the state. All right. Listen to me very carefully, Ms. Bocock. How old are you?
27.
You made a baby, right?
Yes.
You made a baby at a time that you had no right to make a baby, that you weren't prepared to take care of a baby. But for the fact that your parents took your daughter out of foster care and agreed to become foster parents to this child, there is a very strong probability, based on the fact that this child was out of your care, that your social worker was absolutely correct, that the state would have moved in a proceeding to terminate your parental rights and free the child for adoption. There is no question about that. And you are an intelligent young woman, and you know that. Your daughter is now 7?
She's 9.
9. And how long has she been in your care?
2.5 years.
So for the first 7 years of her life, you supported her with nothing.
I gave her love and emotional support, which is more than they gave her.
No. She was in foster care for a year, which means some strangers gave her love and affection. And then she lived with your mother and father, who were up with her during the night, who wiped her nose when she got sick. If she got an upset stomach, they took care of
Your
her.
Honor, I'm
you were
sorry.
living there?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Yes, I did live there for a couple months.
I'm not talking about a couple of months, madam.
Okay.
How long
Your
did your daughter live with your parents?
I don't remember the exact years. She lived with her for a number of years. But why did I end up pregnant at 17? The emotional and physical abuse in that home is unimaginable.
You better stop blaming other.
Bad.
Listen to me. You better stop blaming other people for your life's travails, madam.
I'm not.
Oh, yes, you are. Your father didn't make you pregnant. There are lots of ways to get away from a bad situation. Having a baby is not one of them. There are other avenues. To make a long story short, what the state is now asking you for is $2,000. And they're saying, over the years, the state of California has probably spent $150,000 in foster care payments and administrative fees for your daughter. We're not seeking to recoup that from you now that you're back on your feet. We're seeking to recoup $2,000 from you. That doesn't sound like a lot if you make a baby. $2,000 over 9 years doesn't keep a child in shoes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Ms. Bocock, get your act together. Stop blaming everybody else for your troubles. I mean, your lawyer may think that somebody else is responsible for your troubles. Comes the point, you're 27 years old. You're responsible for your own troubles. And you can work out some sort of a system with the state to take care of this $2,000 that you owe them.
Your Honor?
Yeah.
I have paperwork. Last week, I received papers that they were going to garnish my wages.
Good!
Take my driver's license.
Just a second. Good.
Okay.
They can garnish your wages, and then you know that 10% of your wages are going to go to pay back the obligation that taxpayers in this state paid for your daughter. Now, I'm not quite frankly condoning, Mr. Bocock, the fact that you didn't really have a need for the money, and yet you took money from the state to support your grandchild. And I say that because even though the law gives you the right to do that, I always felt as if you didn't have a need for that and this was your blood, you should do it yourself. But between the two of you, you've got to pay for your child. Not him. It's not his obligation. It's your obligation. So, your lawsuit against your father is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
If she were so concerned about the emotional and physical well-being of her daughter, why did she move 450 miles away to be with her boyfriend who had physically abused her daughter?
I was emotionally abandoned as a child. Of course I'm going to go seeking emotional comfort from somebody else. That doesn't take a psychologist to figure out. He's been in my life for 10 years. He never beat her. My parents are lying, selfish people. Extremely selfish people. They have lied my entire life.
Why did she move away to be with the man who actually is on record of having beat Jessica? She is still with him. We don't know why.
That's all I wanted, was him to honor his word for once in his life. He has never made a promise that he's kept. He's broken promises my whole life. That's all I wanted.
साला रिलेशन में कोटर लेके भीख मांगते दोनों स्टेशन पे रैपर नहीं साला ते लोग बाबा सिर का पेशेंट है पापा पापा कर रहा अबे ये भी कोई टैलेंट है काला चोत अबे सुन मेरा बात तेरा गाना किसी को भी कभी लगता नहीं हार्ड और खुद का नाम फोकट में दे रखा है स्टीव अभी खुद के दम पे खड़ा नहीं और ले रहा है बीट कैसे होता है हिप हॉप जाके बाप से ते सीख वरना तेरे मुंह में डालेंगे हम 7 इंच का डीक खुद को रैपर कहता बेटा खुद के दम पे लीक अबे हिप हॉप के स्कूल में दे अभी भी ये वीक हाँ बाजी पूरी करके ये तो कमा रहे हैं फेम कभी खेल नहीं सकते असली रैपरों से ये तो गेम अबे किस तरह का छोटे यहाँ से मी तेरा नेम बेड़ा नहीं है तू कोई यहाँ एमिनेम मेरा गाना है सच्चाई मेरा गाना नहीं डिस भाई ये साथ बस श्रीकांत मिस आई थिंक होगा वो तो तेरी पगली के घर पे उसको खिला रहा होगा केला और किसमिस हाँ ग्रुप में है जितने लड़के सारे लेंगे घटिया तेरे गाने तो बचपन से मुझको लगते साला घटिया और तू तो साला बचपन से साला बेड़ा घटिया हम लोग 3 भाई ये साथ खड़ा कर देंगे खटिया हिप हॉप की बातें मत कर नहीं है तेरे बस का अकेले में फारू बेटा तेरे जैसा 10 का नहीं देता हिप हॉप में घुसने का कभी रास्ता ते टट्टी है साला और टट्टी ही बसता सुन मुझसे गिरना हो तो कॉल कर
मेरा नया हेयर स्टाइल तेको अच्छा लग रहा होगा मेरा सामने अभी किस तरह पर बच्चा लग रहा होगा बड़ा झज्जा लग रहा होगा जब गाना मेरा लाख पार इज्जत से जीते हम नहीं करते मारधाड़ लेकिन कोई भी मतलब का हाथ जब लगाएगा तो उसका माँ का चौको बेटा जी नहीं पाएगा गाड़ी भी खाएगा हम प्लेन मंगाएगा खाने का ठीक नहीं और आईफोन चल पाएगा तेरा माँ का सगने का 1900 पकड़ना था मेरा 2400 गाना है रेडी मेरा 2400 तेरा बस्ती का 3400 यू नो बीच एम सर्टिफाइड अंडरग्राउंड आर्टिस्ट झाड़ू रैपर लोग का मुंह में केरोसिन डाल के माचिस बात मेरा कुछ तुमको समझ में आ रहा स्कूल का लड़का खाली छोड़ी पटा रहा मिलियंस में व्यूज नहीं फिर भी मचा रहा हिप हॉप का गाना में लड़की नचा रहा आडू आडू